Hello and welcome to Up the Arches Cardiff Met Kincoid campus. Tonight you join us in the build-up between the BUCS Super Rugby South Wales rivalry, Swansea University and the Archers. Coming up on the show we'll be taking a look at some of the previous fixtures with some superb results. Starting with the gymnastics competition in Nottingham which kicked off their season. A summary of the Cardiff clash in the men's and women's tennis from earlier this morning. Highlights of the women's rugby against Hartpury last week. And getting to know some of Met's athletes and finding out once and for all if twin telepathy truly exists. With a final look at the captain's run from this morning before the men's rugby take on Swansea shortly. A couple of weeks ago, Cardiff Met Gymnastics had their first fixture. So some excellent results there, medals in gold, silver and bronze. So this afternoon we saw a Cardiff clash in the tennis where both the men's and women's took on Cardiff Uni. And it was the men's Archers team who stirred up victory there, 6-love, and the women had a challenging match with the final score Cardiff Met 2, Cardiff Uni 4. Let's take a look.
Yeah, good. It's nice to have Cardiff back again. We seem to have them every single week at the minute. But look, we've been there before. We've been as high as the national leagues on both the men's and the ladies' side. So we just want to make sure that we get that opportunity. And I'm sure if we have that opportunity, then the boys will do the job and take it all away.
How does that feel?
Yeah, really good. Yeah, really happy with both wins. Both ended up being quite comfortable, which we weren't expecting. So yeah, really happy. For sure, yeah, I think obviously we're very close to the table, so this was quite a big matchup. And then Bath are just sitting above us, a few points above. So if we manage to win this and get a clean sweep, that looks really strong for the rest of the season. And then we're competing with Bath and we're looking for the top of the table.
But I played very well considering, some other kind of things going on at the end of the term with assignments due and other stuff like that. So, but yeah, I think my level was high. Just the opposition played better today. I think we've already played them before, so I wasn't too kind of intimidated by that. I knew they were going to be strong, but I wasn't too put off.
25th of January is your next fixture,
yeah,
so
1 week's away.
Got plenty of time to work on a few things, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I had a bit of a rough start to the season being out with an ankle injury, so I feel like I'm kind of a few weeks maybe behind everyone else. And considering where I was a couple of weeks ago, I'm playing way better and feeling a lot better on the court. So, can bring on 2023, that's for sure.
Well, what an excellent set of results there from our Archers and a smashing from the men's singles in the tennis. Nothing can beat a good old Cardiff clash. Now let's take a look at a tough encounter between Cardiff Met and Hartpury from last week in the women's rugby.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Cardiff Metropolitan's Kincoid campus because it's Wednesday night lights once again in the Women's National League. The front rower is met by a charging Hartpury defence. That line has come up to meet her, but she's not phased at all. She has driven over, she's rode the challenges, and Cardiff Met get their first try of the game. With nearly 30 minutes gone in this fixture, and Cardiff Met have arrived. The kick is successful from the Cardiff Met team. The gap is closed, the deficit is decreased. There's only 3 points in it at Kincoid campus. It's Cardiff Met 7, Hartpury University 10. It's driven low, it's driven hard, and Emily Griffiths gets 3 more points for the Archers. It's now Cardiff Met 10, Hartpury University 22. They've surely got to look to move the ball round the blind side because they've only got 1 defender in here for Hartpury University. They're over the top of the ball, they've dived for the line, it's a score! Cardiff Met have scored in this second half. Ackfield switches play. It's going through the hands. It's Griffiths. It's Mugabe. She's hurtling towards the corner. It's a try for Cardiff Met. It's up. It's just short. The conversion isn't there. But a good showing from the Cardiff Met side, who never gave up throughout this fixture. And they can hold their heads high with their performance today. They have done their badge proud. Full time here at Kincoy campus on Rugby 1 in the Women's National League. Cardiff Met 20, Hartpury University 27.
I'm now joined by one of the women's rugby captain herself and one of our undergrads on the sport media course here, EC Control. Thank you for joining us. So that looked like an intense meeting with Hartpury. How are you finding the season so far? Have there been many challenges like the one last week?
Yeah, I think every game, most games have been a challenge. Everyone in the league is basically on the same level apart from a couple teams. But we've been doing really well. We won most of our first few games, but then we had a few really tough games away, and but we've been doing good throughout the season. We're 4th in the table, which is not where we quite want to be, but we plan on being top of the table after Christmas.
So do you think playing home versus away makes that much of a difference? Obviously you hear so much about it in like rugby and football and the fans. Do you find that the fans make a huge amount of difference?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference for me is playing on Rugby 1. Just the pitch is just absolutely, it's so nice. It's our favorite pitch to play on. We prefer it so much better than the 3G, and then, we just go to other universities and realize how blessed we are with our field. So I think it definitely does make a difference.
And obviously this was your last game before Christmas. Is there anything you're going to be focusing on training-wise over the time off, or is it dedicated to fueling up on Christmas dinner?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to take some recovery time when we go home for Christmas. I think everyone's really excited. We've been working really hard this season, but I think we're planning on having kind of a mini preseason when we come back after break. So, we have a few weeks before our first game after Christmas break. I think our first game's the end of January or something. So we'll have time to, prepare. I think he's not our new coach, but our coach is on maternity leave right now. So Reese Roberts has kind of stepped in and is helping us out, and I think he really wants to focus on our specific structure for attack and defense. So I'm excited to see what he has planned.
And then coming back together again in January, what do you think the process will be like gelling back together as a team? Do you think it will be fairly easy going into the new year, or do you think quite a lot of work will be needed?
I think it'll be pretty easy. Our team has such good chemistry. I've talked about it before. We had a really good preseason this year, and I think we've just gelled as a team. So I think right when we get back, we'll have a week in the gym, on the field, and we'll be right back at it.
And there's a live game, February 1st. Mm-hmm. Talk us a bit through that one. Does the live coverage make a difference to how you play? Does it play on your mind at all, or is it just not even thought about?
Well, we had one game in Hartpury. It was at King's Home, and that was massive coverage, big deal. And I think it got to some people a little bit. I think there was a lot of nerves involved, but I think this time, I think it's Durham, that game. I think we already beat them once, and or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's at home, and I think we'll do great. So.
Excellent, yeah. And just quickly touching on your kicking game, it's quite a strong kick game. How do you practice your kicking, really?
My kicking?
Yeah.
Well, in high school I used to kick because I used to be a fly half. Now I play flanker, so I don't really kick that much. But there was, I think, a couple weeks ago, our kicker didn't start, so I just stepped up and did it. So I practiced every day after school just because I had nothing else to do, so I just got really good at it, and I guess it stuck around.
Very good. And quickly, just touching on Christmas, where are you planning on spending it? Are you going to be here, or are you going to go back home to the States?
I'm very excited to go back home to America to see my family. I go next Thursday, I think. I'll be going home, seeing my family, my dogs, spending Christmas in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Lovely, sounds wonderful. Well, thank you, EC. We've lots to look forward to after the Christmas period in the world of rugby. But now let's turn our attention to hockey briefly and a specific set of twins. Do you believe in telepathy?
That was wrong. 3, 2, 1, 3. Ooh. Specific or not? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Orange gin. Oh, I put vodka. Three, two, one. Football. Three, two, one. Hot. I wrote winter and I crossed it out. 3, 2, 1. Red. Liverpool always. Ooh. 3, 2, 1. Summer. Three, two, one. Goal. But I normally assist you and you normally score. They were pretty similar. Which ones did we get wrong? I did circle. Is that it? And the winter one.
Well, how about that? Fascinating stuff. Kian, do you believe in telepathy?
I don't know, Meg. Can you tell what I'm thinking right now?
Is it a win for Met tonight?
Do you know what? It must be true. It must be.
Now joining us is our rugby correspondent Kian Tukey, who helped guide us through all of the men's rugby news. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Loving the show so far. Absolute natural, may I say.
Right, well, big news on the international scene. We have to talk about it. Now, we definitely didn't need telepathy to see this one coming. Wayne Pivac out, Warren Gatland in. Eddie Jones out. Who is in? So Wayne Pivac won just 13 out of his 34 tests for Wales. How much of a difference do you think Gatland will truly make?
Do you know, at the end of the day, for Wayne Pivac, the writing's been on the wall for a while. A lot of fans haven't been happy with his performances. I mean, 3 wins in 12 in his most recent games. It's not to Wales standards, and I mean, who brought up those standards? Warren Gatland, and he's the man who's come to replace him. The WRU have said that they're in a results business, and the current trajectory of Wales is not where it should be. And so, to answer your question, Warren Gatland is the person to bring in because he will bring that solidity.
So you say Gatland seems like the obvious choice. He's the most successful Wales coach, 2 World Cup semi-finals. But do you think it is the right thing for him to come back, or should it have been given to someone new, fresh, up and coming?
Well, do you know what? It's different on many levels. You look at him, and for him personally, would he have wanted to come back? Listen, he's loved in Wales. He's stayed within Wales. He's stayed within doing punditry with Amazon. He's got himself a column where he writes about Welsh rugby, and he's been vocal on what they're saying. And I think for him personally, he was waiting for the New Zealand job. The New Zealand job never came. And so he got sick and tired of that. And he's come back to somewhere where he's loved, he's adored. He's been known as the saviour of certainly modern Welsh rugby. And so for him and his ego, it's perfect. And for his bank balance as well, it's looking quite nice.
We've seen that ginormous figure that he's been paid, £580,000 100,000 or something like that.
I tell you what, for a WRU, which is apparently struggling financially, and don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure they are, but 100,000 to bring in a man who you know will get you results, but then you're also thinking, his backroom staff, if he wants to get a completely new backroom staff, bring in someone like Sean Edwards, for example, then you're going to have to get rid of the current ones that are there, and that's being estimated as being worth around $1 million to get rid of them, and so it is looking more and more costly for the WRU.
Now, former Wales captain Sam Warburton, he openly criticised Pivac's side, saying that he fears for Wales over the next 5 years. Is Gatland the solution to all of Wales's problems, or does it dig deeper than that?
Do you know what? It really does dig deeper. I think a lot of the reason that people were almost feeling sorry for Wayne Pivac was the fact that the WRU were not backing him, and there is a serious, well, you would say systemic issue within the WRU. You look at the contract embargo, clubs aren't able to offer player contracts because they don't have the money. And then what's happening? The quality of rugby in Wales is going down, and then players are moving abroad to France or to England where they can pay them better. I mean, England's not in the best state at the moment, but certainly France and the Southern Hemisphere. And you're looking at players who are getting below that 60 cap, which means they're not able to play for Wales once they move out of there. So players are having to weigh up, do I want to play for my national team or do I want to make a living? And so Warren Gatland was able last time to come in, paper over the cracks, and definitely overachieve as a Wales manager. And you could argue, are the WRU just doing that again, getting in a good manager but not sorting out the systemic issues? I mean, it's been agreed recently that the 4 provinces have come to a 6-year framework agreement to try and stop them plunging any further down. But what is that agreement? None of us knows.
No, it's all very in the dark at the moment, including his backroom staff. But lots to speculate, lots to discuss. But it is lovely and cosy up in the studio up here, but temperatures are dropping outside, aren't they, Griff? So let's throw down and hear from him. He's on the touchline.
Thank you very much, Meg. Yeah, it's absolutely Baltic down here, and I'm joined by a very freezing James and Ed. How are you both today?
Could be warmer, to be said. Yeah.
So it's the second leg today. How do you see the game going? Because completely different conditions. It's cold. It was sunny when you got down there. It's summer, obviously. So how do you see the game going?
Completely differently to last time. I think the main thing is that in that opening weekend, the squads were very new together. You know, there were freshers that came in, you know, perhaps hadn't played with the universities before. Now they've had games, you know, we're beyond 9 rounds in BUCS Super Rugby now. This is the business end of the season. We know that Swansea can play really well at this time of year, you know, 6 wins in a row towards the end of last season, and they're definitely coming into their own, and we saw that in the game against Cardiff last week. So we're looking forward to some really cool rugby today.
Yeah, I echo that, what James said, to be honest. I think, you know, looking back at that first game of the season, there were quite a lot of mistakes from both sides, especially a lot of unforced errors in that first half. Went behind, but, you know, came back really strong, got that win. But it's going to be a tough game today against a strong Swansea side, you know, like James said as well. They're coming off the back of a really good win against a good Cardiff side, so, you know, I think it could be a really interesting game today.
Because we've seen, like, the ground, of course, today is a lot better than it was last time out on Kincoid. It was absolutely pissing it down today, but it was, but yeah, it's a Wednesday night lights, sorry, not Friday night lights, but it is Baltic. And how's the weather going to affect the game? Because you talked about how it's going to be a different game from last time, but is the weather going to be a big part today?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously it's freezing, like we just said. There could be a few handling errors, but, you know, they're all top quality players at BUCS Super Rugby level, so it might have a bit of an impact. We might see a different style of play from Matt, but, you know, we'll have to see how that plays out.
I'm just going to echo what Ed said here. You know, these guys are at the peak of their game. This is the top level university rugby. There's some players out here tonight that are going to go on to professional deals, and we're going to see them in the international stage. You know, the quality just speaks for itself. I don't think the conditions will phase them. The one thing I think they need to look out for, though, is this changing wind. Keeps changing directions down here at pitch side, which means the high ball is going to be a massive problem for fullbacks today in particular.
So, you talked about the stars. Anyone in particular, quite quickly here?
Oh, I mean, obviously, Swansea are missing their club captain in the form of Ben Gregory. You know, so the Swansea pack really have to step up to the game today and really, you know, put a performance that their captain would be proud of out there. But for me, I can't look any further than beyond Roma Zheng. You know, he came back from injury last week, try on his return up at Loughborough. Yes, Met may have lost the game, but for me that was a big moment. And now he's starting this evening as a reward for that, which I think is huge to have a player of his calibre back in the Met side.
Well, thank you very much, boys. So we've heard from the Met boys commentating. Let's hear from the boys that are playing today. Cian Tukey has been down at Rugby 1 this afternoon for the captain's run to see how they're preparing for this derby.
First and foremost, tough game against Loughborough last week. What can you take from that game?
Well, they came out the blocks firing and we didn't really perform very well. It's a learning curve for us, definitely.
We can't take anyone for granted in this league. Although they're at the top of the league with us, we always knew it was going to be a tough game. They came out the blocks well, and we should have reacted to that.
I think it's just about bouncing back from that, putting in a performance tonight and just kind of forget about that.
What are you expecting from Swansea?
Yeah, we know what to expect from them. Last year, obviously, it was a rainy day and they probably dominated us physically, so we expect them to expect to do the same this year.
Well, last game was a bit of a kicking game. I know their team's a bit different to last time, but they'll probably try and strangle us back and keep us in our own half, so we'll have to manage the kicking game well, and hopefully we can put on a show for everyone.
Everyone loves the Welsh derby, and we know that Welsh teams like to perform against us as well.
The scenario's a lot different to the start of the year now. Although they're down the bottom of the league, it's still a Welsh clash, so they're always interesting, and we just can't take that for granted. And they've got fans coming down, so we know it's going to be tough, and hopefully we can do the same as we done in the first game of the season.
And joint top scorer this season, maybe a hat-trick tonight?
Well, yeah, that's always the aim. Individual goals are nice, but obviously I'm all about the team. But yeah, any tries would be good. So yeah, hopefully we can get the win, and maybe I'll get on the score sheet too.
Well, it's great to see that Cian got the feel of what's happening out there before their match this evening. I'm joined once again by EC, just to have a general chat about Cardiff Met Rugby. So, what was the atmosphere like in the team and the captain's run this morning? How were they all feeling?
Do you know what? The boys down there love a Welsh derby, and I'll tell you what, Swansea will be as up for it as the Met boys are. I mean, I've been down to a few captain's runs now, and it's generally going through the motions, making sure everyone knows their place in your set moves and your set pieces, as EC you'll probably know. But today there was some intensity, there was something in the air, and I think we're in for a really special game tonight.
So obviously it's a South Wales rivalry, Cardiff Met, Swansea University. Let's talk about big rivalries. Obviously your match up with Rugby last week, would you say, is your biggest rivalry in your league. What do players need to do to prepare for such big games?
Yeah, I think players just really need to focus on our team. So Cardiff Met needs to focus on what Cardiff Met does best and not get wrapped up in the whole rivalry thing and like all the drama. You know, when you focus on yourself, you perform like your team should. So I think that's what they need to do tonight.
Do you get to train much with the men's rugby team? Do you sort of notice any key players that maybe will be highlighted tonight?
We don't really train together, but I mean, I see all the games, and you know, I think I'm gonna go with Brandon Harvey for my pick. He's coming off the bench playing lock. He's from Charlotte, North Carolina, which is where I'm from, so you know, there might be some bias there, but I'm gonna go with him.
And Cian, let's go for who to look out for from Met from you first.
So I think first and foremost, you got to look at the big man, Roma Zheng, back in the starting lineup, on the bench last week, coming back from injury, but he scored in the first fixture earlier on in the season, and I reckon he'll do the same today.
And let's apply the same question to Swansea now. Anyone to look out for? Anyone Met should be slightly worried about?
Do you know what? Interestingly, their captain, Ben Gregory, he's out of a groin injury, and that would have been someone, and I had prepared that, to talk about looking out for, but since he's not there, I'm going to have to go with Rory Case. I've been speaking with Ben earlier on in the week, and he said he's been the most consistent player in that team. He's a top try scorer as well, and he's playing outside centre and someone that both David and Joe will have to really look out for.
So do you think Cardiff Met would like to send Swansea into relegation, or do you think they quite like having that South Wales rivalry?
I don't know, it depends who you ask. I think if you're looking at the core Welsh rugby fans, they'd quite like that three teams in Wales kind of dynamic. I think it really shows the ability that Welsh rugby could have. WRU, I hope you're listening. But I think if you're on the other side, if you're playing in this Welsh derby, you'd like to stick it to them, wouldn't you?
Okay, so let's just tie it back to tonight. It's very cold out there. Frost, all of it, below 0 temperatures. How do you find playing in the cold, EC?
Oh, yeah, it's very cold in Wales. That's one thing that came as a shock to me. But as long as it's not raining, I'm happy. So hopefully the boys feel the same way, because your body warms up pretty fast. So let's hope the weather stays clear, and then I think they'll be good.
And what kind of warm-ups do you run through? Is there something specific that you do on a cold day, or is it just normally the same?
No, I think we keep it the same, keep a routine so we can do what we do every game.
And so Met are currently second in the table. They had an unfortunate loss to Loughborough last week, who are top of the table. How do you think they need to win this match tonight to sort of keep themselves up?
I'll tell you what, you wouldn't want to be Swansea tonight. Met had come off a 5-game winning streak, and funnily enough, Swansea had beaten the South Wales counterparts Cardiff the week before, ending a 5-game losing streak. So in many ways, Swansea have the momentum, but I mean, you look at Danny Milton's men, you look at the amount of changes they've made tonight, 7 in total, I think, is what the boys were talking about earlier. And I really think they'll be able to stick it to Swansea tonight, and they've got a point to prove, and they want to be chasing Loughborough.
And quickly, let's just get a prediction from you both. EC?
Oh, I'm going to go 28-10. Cardiff Met winning.
Cian?
Nice. Well, 30-42 in the last clash. Home advantage. Big Kincoid crowd. I think it's going to be big. I'm going with another 45-15 scoreline.
Big scores all around there. Well, thank you for your comments. I'm sure we could talk all day about BUCS rugby. But let's head to the action, shall we? Let's join our commentary team, James Roberts and Ed Webb.
Hello all and welcome to Kincoid Campus's Rugby 1 pitch at Cardiff Metropolitan University for the BUCS Super Rugby fixture between Cardiff Met and Swansea University. The Swans from the West ending a long losing run last week and running away with a victory against fellow Welsh BUCS Super Rugby competitors Cardiff, whilst Cardiff Met had their winning streak of 5 matches ended at the hands of Loughborough University up north last week. While Swansea will look to keep the momentum going into this week and for another strong run in at the end of the year, make no mistake, the Archers will be desperate for another win on their record again, and I am pleased to be joined up here in the commentary gantry with none other than Ed Webb. Ed, my friend, how are you this evening? You look freezing.
I am very cold, James, yeah, but it's a pleasure to be alongside you.
You must be looking forward to this match because we love derbies in BUCS Super Rugby, but more than that, we love a Welsh derby in BUCS Super Rugby.
Absolutely, it's a fantastic occasion for all the players to be out there under the lights at Kincoid. Obviously, judging by the last game down at St Helens, it's a cracker. Hopefully they can repeat that today.
Absolutely, and the Met team hoping to repeat victory once again. Danny Milton makes 7 changes to his starting 15 for today's Welsh derby. Ben Murphy and Tyler Olding, the new additions into the front row, joining the ever-experienced tight head Elliot Salt. Barney Langton will captain the side from the engine room of the scrum and will work alongside Barnaby Waddle, who's promoted into the starting pack. 2 new flankers in the form of Bertie Taylor and Ewan Guy join the impressive Welsh under-20s Benji Williams in the back row, and Ali Stacey, the connection between forwards and backs today at scrum half, feeding Bradley Roderick Evans, who maintains his 10 jersey. Club superstar Roma Zheng returned from injury last week with a try and is rewarded with a start this week. Joe Westwood stands at 12 and is supported by Davith Tueti at 13. This is becoming a notorious double act in BUCS Super Rugby. The ever-present impressive Jake Thomas on at right wing, and Ethan Morgan completes a starting line-up at fullback. Completely new set of impact subs for Cardiff Met. Connor Chapman joins club captain Joe Cal and Diane Mantu as a replacement front row. USA under-20 Eagle Brandon Harvey and former Chief Jake Bond, the fellow forward replacements. Rory Morgan replacement scrum half, with Gus Patterson set for a debut tonight, and log-serving clubman Ewan Bowden rounds off a strong bench for the Archers. And the Swansea lineup for this evening. After last week's triumph at St Helens to Cardiff University, Hugh Gustafsson makes 4 changes to his starting 15, looking for as much continuity as possible. It's an unchanged front row of Max Marshall, Garen Lloyd and Tom Furtado Mills. Chris Thompson, the only new addition in the pack, and due to a groin injury on club captain Ben Gregory, there's been a shuffle around to last week. Peter Vickers remains in the second row, but Joe Greaves moves to the blindside flanker role, with open side Will Barraclough named as captain and Kai Davis at 8. Duff Land, the starting scrum half partners, Drew Masu in the halfback roles. Again, And with Ewan Jones at 12 and top try scorer Rory Case at 13 looking to add more to his tally of 5 so far this season. Callum Dodd will look to utilise his Welsh Premiership experience with Llandovery on the right wing, and Joe Hill rounds off the first 15 at full-back. Jack Therian, a new addition to the Impact subs, accompanied by Tom Zugar and Paula Fafita as the front row replacements. Alex Bairstow with Bob Bray, the fellow forward replacements, and Dan Roderick, David Armstrong, all new additions to the bench. Aaron Parsons is retained, though, from last week's finishers. Ed, 2 massive teams out here tonight. I've mentioned a few internationals. I've mentioned a few club players. We are about to see the best of the best in university rugby.
Absolutely, you know, we know what the quality's like in this Met side, especially. You know, Roma Zheng on this wing coming back into the side today. It's going to be really exciting to see him live up to his potential.
Absolutely, and I think he's definitely one to watch this evening. You know, Roma Zheng, he scores tries for fun, really, doesn't he, Ed? You know, he just stands out on that pitch every single time, and we know he likes scoring against Swansea because he did it in round 1.
Exactly, you know. We've seen Roma's alpha. This is his second year at Cardiff Met. He's been absolutely tearing up. His pace, his power, everything about him, it screams excitement. So, you know, he scored down at St Helens in that first game back in September. Hopefully he can repeat that today. Absolutely.
I'm also going to highlight out for you Will Barrowclough. We asked the Swansea players for a fun fact about them ahead of this live stream, and he said that he's taught Benji Williams all he knows. The Met number 8 has certainly been on fine form for the Archers, and if he's coming up against a fellow friend in Will Barrowclough, you might say we're set for a feisty encounter between the 2 back rowers.
Well, let's hope so. You know, there's nothing better than a bit of friendly rivalry. So,
Well, there's nothing friendly about this rivalry when it comes down to the grit of it. Whilst they'll shake hands and be friends after the 80 minutes, during the 80 minutes, they will be absolutely going for it. No team will be willing to give an inch of this grass as Barney Langton leads out his Archers onto this hallowed turf in front of the tunnel made by the Archer Ultras. Ed, it's quite an experience walking down that, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, like I said earlier on, there's nothing better than Wednesday night lights at King Coyd. You know, the atmosphere the Ultras bring is just fantastic. You know, they bring an electric atmosphere here, and it really gets the boys going. You know, for the Met team.
Swansea University will kick us off here in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture at Cardiff Metropolitan University. We're down on Rugby 1. The floodlights are on. The sun has set. But it's not set on either team's season so far in BUCS Super Rugby. Swansea desperately trying to avoid being included in the relegation conversation, and Cardiff Met desperately in the hunt for the coveted home semi-final. Ed, it's important to mention now, we've got some Swansea Ultras who have made the journey down. Normally we just talk about the Cardiff Met Ultras. Are they going to feel a little bit of competition today on their own turf?
Well, I think so. You know, like you said, we don't really see any away fans come to King Coyd, so it could be interesting. It could be a good atmosphere.
We are underway here at King Coyd campus. The kickoff is received well by Cardiff Met. No fumbles at the moment, and Ali Stacey will get us started with the first high kick of the game. Collected well there from the fullback Joe Hill. Swansea looking to set up the first menacing attack of the game. Huge collision in the middle of the park. Ben Murphy with a big tackle for the Cardiff Met team. Big carries coming through the middle of the park already for Swansea. Unfortunately, Elliot Salt didn't want to give the Swansea attack any room there. There's a little bit of delay there from Joe Greaves. The penalty has been awarded to Swansea. They're playing with an advantage. They'll certainly be looking to try something a little bit flamboyant here.
Yeah, already just a minute in. Some big tackles flying in already from the Met side.
It's declaring their intent quite early on, is it not?
Definitely so. You know, Elliot Salt putting in a big hit there. Conceding the penalty, but, you know, it really shows the intent from this Met side.
Swansea opting to kick for the corner early on in this fixture. Normally teams like to go for points early on, try and tip the scoreboard over in close encounters. They obviously don't think that this is going to be a close encounter because they want to go straight for the tries in the corner.
I think that just shows how confident this Swansea side are coming off that win last week.
Absolutely, it's a huge win for the Swansea outfit down at St Helens against Cardiff Union last week. They've got a great driving maul going here. It's been brought down, but illegally in the eyes of the referee. So Swansea again with the penalty advantage, and taking the ball up to the line was Ewan Jones. Jones desperately looking for a hole, but he was just met by the Cardiff Met defence. There is no gap so far. They will come back for the penalty though.
early signs that the Swansea team seems to be looking to go into contact quite early on.
Hunting again for the line out. Well defended by the Cardiff Met pack last time around. They did give away the penalty there, Ed. How key is it that they don't give away another one now? Because we could be talking yellow cards at a very early stage.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, in the previous game over at St Helens, their discipline really let them down. They saw them trying to claw back the game. They did eventually come back and win the game. But they don't want to be losing players early on. They don't want to be going behind early on. They want to get on the front foot.
So Ewan Johns, interestingly, is at the front of this line-out for Swansea. He's thrown himself in there. Swansea have got an awful lot of players in there, but they throw over the top of him, and it looks like they're trying to set up a 16-man maul almost. They are driving towards the Cardiff Met line. There's only 2 players that aren't involved in this maul effort from Swansea as they move ever closer to the Met line, and they will score for the first try of the game. A great piece of work from the Swansea team, not just their pack, but collectively coming together as a group and dotting down for the first try in this fixture right on the doorstep of the Swansea Ultras, who have travelled all the way down here.
Yeah, I must say it's a fantastic driving maul from that Swansea pack. They really got their legs pumping, and they called all the rest of the players in, and they got them over the line.
Cameron Lloyd was the one at the bottom of that bundle. He had the ball, he took it over, and he'll be responsible for Swansea's first points of the year. So, Drew Musa with the first kick of the game. Currently in BUCS Super Rugby, he has a 40% kicking success rate. So it'll be interesting to see if he can improve that percentage this evening on Kinkoi campus. Is missed, so no extras there for Swansea University. It means that the score is Cardiff Metropolitan University 0, Swansea University 5.
It'd be interesting to see how Cardiff Met respond to this. Going behind earlier on, they haven't even had the ball in hand yet, so hopefully they'll be trying to win this ball back from the kick-off here and get some ball in hand.
And they look to do just that. A lovely high kick-off from Ethan Morgan. Bromwich the first one to chase down that ball. And it's that man again, Ben Murphy, the first big hit in the Archers' defensive effort. I'm telling you this now, Ed, he's like a man possessed when he pulls on this Archers uniform. Kick chase forward by Ethan Morgan, but it doesn't find his hands, it finds his feet, and it finds the hands of the Swansea team. A big hit coming in there from Barnaby Waddle there. Swansea looking to try and use the width of the pitch, looking to spread their attack. Cardiff Met nearly creeping offside there. The referee saying he was happy with the ball being out, so it was Ewan Guy that put the pressure on. Recently reintroduced into the starting lineup. Romagin collected the ball with ease, and he loves an open pitch. He loves being able to stretch those legs. He found a half gap, but he wasn't able to break all the way through. Stacey gets Murphy on the ball for his first carry, but it's ripped in the contact. It was Chris Thompson making the crucial interception. He himself, the new addition into the Swansea starting lineup. The referee is calling for a scrum down. It's Cardiff Met ball because the rip was forward. And that's a get out of jail for free card there from Cardiff Met.
Yeah, absolutely. Rowan showed his intentions early on with Cardiff Met would just be happy that they got the ball in hand now, 6 minutes in. Let's see if they can build something from the scrum.
Stacey will have the pudding here for Cardiff Met at scrum time. Cardiff Met scrum has been dominant in this BUCS Super Rugby season. Let's see how they do. The pack's not moving. That was a solid scrum to start the game off with, Ed, as we introduce the backs. A lovely running move. Roderick Evans was in a bit of space. The ball's been chipped forwards. Oh, Ethan Morgan was so close there.
What a fantastic move off the back of that scrum. Bradley Roderick Evans breaking through the line. Lovely little kick chase forward. Just went into it.
Referee giving a penalty to Swansea University for the high challenge by Cardiff Met in the tackle. So Swansea now have an opportunity to clear their lines, get up the pitch, back into Cardiff Met territory, and potentially have another menacing attack.
There's 2 penalties getting conceded now already in 7 minutes. Met will be wanting to watch our penalty kick.
Absolutely, it's not the noise that Romage thought he would be hearing, but it seems to be helping the Swansea team out immensely because they're the only team to score so far in this fixture. It's currently 5-0 in their favour, 1 try for the visitors. Cardiff Met ferociously defending here. Barney Langton went for the charge down on Musa with a high ball. It's going to be fiercely contested. Morgan hasn't found it. It's found the hands of Swansea. Have they managed to get it out wide in the corner? What's the decision? It's a try. Brilliant awareness from Rory Cates. He kept the ball alive in his hands. Morgan wasn't able to deal with it, and he offloaded it beautifully to Dodd, who was going down the right. And Swansea have their 2nd try in this fixture, Ed.
Yeah, great finish from Callum Dodd there in the corner. You know, Romage is a difficult man to beat one-on-one, so that's a fantastic finish. You know, Ethan Morgan just wasn't able to get that ball under control under the high ball. It was a good kick, but you know, a few more unforced errors there, I'd say.
It's a much more difficult angle, though, for Musa to deal with on the kick. We've got a replay coming in of the try. Again, that one-on-one Ed that you spoke about there in the corner with Romage. He's a difficult winger to run against, but he dealt with it well, Dodd.
It was a great finish, you know. He just sidestepped him in the last minute, but managed to bounce off the tackle when finishing the corner.
We're starting to see more and more of those acrobatic finishes in rugby union, more traditionally associated with rugby league. Do you fancy doing one yourself one day?
I'm not sure I'm quite at the level of these boys, but you know, who knows?
Swiped across the face of the post. It's another missed kick, another missed opportunity for Swansea University, but it's a 2nd try. So the score now reads Cardiff Met 0, Swansea University 10. Ethan Morgan will look to lift this ball into the air, and every Archer hand will be desperately trying to get onto it. Romage again with the first tackle off the kickoff. Guy trying to make an impact there at the ruck, and Langton and Murphy teaming up together for a big hit on the Swansea 8. Guy Davis would not have been expecting that. Guy again trying to cause all sorts of problems at ruck time for Swansea. And Zheng able to collect the ball successfully for Met this time. He's looking to run around the outside of Musa. Big collision in the middle of the park, but he keeps a hold of the ball and keeps Cardiff Met's attacking hopes alive, and it is also a penalty. Lovely bit of vision over the top there from Bradley Roderick Evans. He looked for the chip in behind. It only found the Swansea defence, so we'll come back for the penalty advantage. Not rolling away quick enough in the ruck. Those penalties are so easy to give away, Ed, but it's so important that you don't.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we've seen the 2 tries that Swansea have scored have both come from turnovers, penalties conceded from that. So, you know, Romage there, running, forcing the penalty, and hopefully Met can capitalise here in the corner.
They'll set up about 20-odd metres out from the try line. Murphy is going up to tell his hooker, Tyler Olding, what the call is. Run their play. It's a mislift though, but it has found the hands of Ewan Guy. Swansea Ultras not helping Tyler Olding in that scenario there, but he will carry the ball forwards for Met in their latest charge towards the try line. Murphy now with a big carry. He's broken that game line. Stacey looking to use the quick ball. Guy supported by Westwood now. A lovely pick and go there from Langton. Benji Williams takes 3 Swansea players with him. Guy again. The Cardiff Met forwards desperately looking to get on the ball. Olding with the latest charge forward, slightly isolated there. The support did come in soon enough. Westwood, good hands from the 12 running in there. Salt now with the big carry forwards. Twetty going in for the clear out. The referee blows up for an advantage to Cardiff Met.
That's the first real play when it builds some phases. Big chance of a scrum 5 minutes out from try.
They've opted for a scrum here on the park. The referee obviously giving them an option of calls available. The ball was unplayable in that scenario. But Met now have another great opportunity to get themselves on the scoreboard.
Pick the ball up, mate.
Stacey throws the ball in. Every leg pumping forward. Benji Williams with the big carry from the base of the scrum. He's driven back ferociously in defence by Swansea University. And now they have to start again from zero, but they don't mind, because the latest carrier of the ball was Bertie Taylor. Murphy, supported by his teammates. Ben Murphy's been everywhere so far today. The captain Langton, Ewan Guy. Met are looking to attack with a lot of high tempo right now. Speed of ball is crucial in this area. They are inches away, but they've given away the penalty. The Swansea University defensive effort has been rewarded with a penalty in their favour, and that is a huge opportunity missed, Ed.
I have to say it was a fantastic tackle from Ewan John to 12 down on Benji Williams. Benji Williams was absolutely motoring towards that try, and he's managed to take him down just before, and Swansea have managed to force the error.
It was certainly a massive effort from Swansea there. Everybody was thrown on the line. The kick has gone down the pitch. It's hit our gantry. You might have heard that from the echoes. Certainly made Ed jump. It means that Swansea University will have the line out just on their own 10-metre line. And Met are already lining up who they're going to have for dinner this evening in defence, Ed. Tyler Olding is hungry for a big tackle.
As he always is.
The line out just overthrown, it just missed the hands there of the Swansea player, but is collected by Elliot Salt. Well, great reactions from the tight head prop. Tyler Olding now with the latest carry. Roderick Evans invites Westwood in. Roma Zheng then on another great run down the middle. We've seen this sort of move time and time again from the Archers. They love to try a little bit of trickery there with the passing. Roderick Evans again looking to invite his captain in. A huge collision in the middle of the park. The referee says fair game, it's a turnover. Swansea have got the ball back.
It was a big tackle, wasn't it? You know, it's quite unlucky from Met, really. They seem to be growing into the game more, but just a few sort of maybe unforced errors, giving the ball away. But I think the chances will come from that.
Ethan Morgan kicks a high ball of his own. Roma Zheng is unsure where that's going to land, but it lands straight into the hands of Rory Case, who almost broke free, but a last-ditch attempt there at the tackle. Twetty now with the ball out wide. He's done well to make sure he comes back inside and doesn't get pushed too far away from his fellow teammates. Murphy again carrying the ball, carrying with intent. Westwood, beautiful pass out. Jake Thomas is in space. He's using all of his speed. Covered well though in defence. The support is there, the ball is alive, the Met attack lives. Roderick Evans decides to take it up himself. So it looks like Twetty stepped in at first receiver. It's going to be carried forward by Benji Williams now. A huge carry. He just ran over Johns there. Westwood ran out of time there and ran straight into the clutches of a Swansea tackler. Ali Stacey was looking to work all sorts of trickery. He seems to have danced his way through the middle there. But a penalty against Swansea, offside in defence. You can't afford to give those away, surely.
Not in these sort of positions, you know, Met are very dangerous, especially giving penalties away just outside the Swansea 22, you know, could be a costly mistake, but I have to say, what a fantastic pass by Bradley Webber to start that attack. You know, they've missed 3 players, to find Jake Thomas out on that wing, and, you know, they almost scored from it.
We just had a replay here of that Jake Thomas surge forwards. I so desperately want him to break free of that tackle, but Ed, it's so hard to just lift your legs away from the big bare arms that come in of a rugby player.
And I have to say, these Swansea lads have made quite a few of those tackles in this match already.
There'll certainly be some tired legs as we get towards the end of the second half, because they're giving everything in this first period. Ali Stacey now, the one barking the orders, desperately trying to get his men moving forwards. But Swansea look to have disrupted that ball well. And it was wrapped up by Chris Thompson, supported by his back rowers, Joe Greaves. And Will Barraclough was there to congratulate them on turning the ball over. It's another opportunity in the red zone for Cardiff Met where they've not been able to score.
Yeah, that's 2 or 3 times now Cardiff Met have visited Swansea's 22 and come away pointless. It must be a bit frustrating for them, but you know, I think these chances will come more and more throughout the game, especially like you said, with these Swansea boys getting more tired. But you know, Met will be hoping that they can capitalise on these chances.
Now, Drew Musa is standing deep and away from this scrum, right on the edge of the dead ball line, and you can tell that both flankers for Met will be looking to put pressure on him, but it doesn't matter, it's picked up, and Swansea are going to try and run it out. John's got his hands on the ball after a pick and go from Kai Davis, and now Musa, with the security of his forwards in front of him, can clear the ball away for Swansea. This time though, Cardiff Met will have the line out just inside the Swansea half, and Ed, they desperately need to score as we approach the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, like you said, they'll feel like they need to score, you know. All these visits to the 22 with still no score on the board to show for it, it must become increasingly frustrating as the game goes on. So, you know, if they can get that first score on the board, that will increase their confidence and hopefully increase more points.
Roman Sheng has come off his wing here to have a lovely run through the middle of the park. He palmed away 3 defenders there. And he's certainly got Met on the front foot. Westwood has been invited. Lovely pass out to Jake Thomas, who's cutting back in off his own wing. He's having a go. And he's just lost the ball forward on the ground. The referee telling everyone to play on. And again, the ball falls out of the Cardiff Met attacking hands and straight back into the defensive hands of Swansea. And they clear their lines. It's another opportunity gone.
The Swansea defence has been absolutely mammoth so far in this game. There's been 3 or 4 times when Met they're almost certain to score. And there's been big tackles from Swansea players to stop those chances.
There's a little bit of fisticuffs and handbags there off the ball, Ed. I think we can call it that. We know that lots of them on paper are friends. They've played together before at teams, at schools, at Welsh age group level. There's nothing friendly about this fixture tonight because both sides are absolutely crying out for a victory. Swansea, as I say, don't want to be involved in that relegation conversation, and Met are in the hunt for a home semi-final because they want this BUCS Super Rugby title. There is a feeling around campus that maybe this year could be their year. What's your take on it, Ed?
Well, I think they've certainly had a promising start. You know, it was a disappointing result last week about Loughborough, but Loughborough's always going to be a tough place to go. You know, they're top of the league now. So I think, you know, they've got a really good squad so far. They've showed it. They've got 5 games on the bounce, which is no easy thing for BUCS Rugby at all. So, you know, you never know, really. It's a long old season. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Absolutely, it's a long season, and a team in this league that will be grateful at how long the season is Leeds Beckett, who today have got another victory, a crucial victory in their BUCS Super Rugby campaign, because they desperately don't want to be bottom of the table either, and also considered in that relegation battle conversation. So, huge effort from them today to beat Nottingham.
Yeah, that's a massive result, you know, and the more important thing about that is that closes the gap between Nottingham to them. Obviously, Nottingham are in 8th place, they don't fall too far away from that position. They want to stay in this league, so it's a big result for them.
We are now back underway at Kingsway campus, but the throw that was not straight from Tyler Olding sees possession turned back over to Swansea. have the put-in at the scrum on their own 22. Whilst they do have the put-in at the scrum, because it's on their own 22, it's not exactly the ideal position on the park.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. It'd be interesting to see what they do here with this put in. But, you know, the confidence that this Swansea side has shown in this first half so far, you know, I don't think they'll be scared of anything.
You must need shovels in this sort of weather, Ed, to actually get a good purchase at scrum time. I know I've certainly had my fair share of slips in scrums when we get to the winter. Do you think that they will be causing issues for them this evening on this pitch?
No, I don't think so. You know, they're, like we mentioned in the pre-match build-up, you know, they're all top players at this level. It'll be out of their minds as soon as they cross that white line. You know, they won't be thinking about it. So no, I don't think.
Rory Case with a great clearance kick there for Swansea University. They worked out the back of the scrum quickly, efficiently, and now it's Met, who, whilst they have the line-out throw, have it just outside their own 22.
Yeah, that was a fantastic kick from Rory Case, you know, nearly a 50-22 as well. It's put Met under real pressure here.
He'll definitely be a key figure in this match, Ed. You know, Swansea's top try scorer so far this season. He's certainly proven that it's not just his try scoring ability, but his technical ability across the park that's proving valuable for this team in green. But a penalty at the line-out, at the subsequent maul. The referee not happy with the way the ball was passed back there. And that is a huge error. It could prove very costly as Swansea look straight to the corner again.
It's been a similar start to that of the first game down at St Helens. You know, Swansea looked quite dangerous on the attack, and Met have been quite sloppy in their defence. You know, conceding penalties, giving Swansea chances that they've taken.
We've got a replay here of said incident at the line-out. What looked to be a successful drive. The ball was not handed back legally. There must have been some separation from ball and jersey there. You obviously can't pass it all the way back from jumper, but another overthrow at the line out. Ewan Guy's in a bit of space, and he's out of the Met 22. Stacey under a lot of pressure there at the ruck, sorry. It's all just happening so frantically, Ed. The high ball collected from Musa though, and he invites into the game the try scorer, Callum Dodd, who's come way off of his wing to support his fly half. And Swansea will now restart their attack. Musa. Over the top, out wide, they found Oscar Stewart, also in some space. He's tackled right in front of the Met Ultras. And they've also won the penalty right in front of the Met Ultras, who are absolutely loving that from the Cardiff Met team. That's exactly what we want to see more of.
Yeah, that's one way to get the Met Ultras going, you know, win a penalty right in front of them. That would be really good for the confidence of this team. You know, I think they need to get the Met Ultras into the game a bit more. They've been a bit quiet, maybe because of the performance from the Cardiff Met side, but you know, that was certainly a boost there.
Now, worryingly, we are losing Joe Westwood now. He's limping off the pitch there. He's obviously picked up a knock, that he just can't shake. We wish him the speediest of recoveries. I hope it's nothing too serious, because I mentioned it in the build-up, reading out the team sheets. Him and David Tueti are proving to be a mean partnership in the centres in BUCS Super Rugby.
Yeah, that could be a big blow for them. You know, they've been absolutely fantastic this year. You know, they've got a great partnership, good communication between the two of them. So we'll see how that plays out for the rest of the game.
Met with the good clean line out, and Benji Williams with another big carry in the middle of the park. Ethan Morgan, looked to find Roma Sheng out on the left wing, but the pass eluded the left winger. I'm just going to confirm now for you, Ed, with the dismissal of Joe Westwood due to an injury, and we hope it's not too serious for the centre. We have now seen the introduction of Gus Patterson. It's his BUCS Super Rugby debut.
Big day for Gus.
The fresher sport and exercise science student. He's got Osprey's 16s and 18s experience underneath his belt. He's played for the Welsh Academicals, Bridgend Athletic, and unsurprisingly, with that sort of quality at his age, his granddad was the captain of Zambia Rugby. So he's got prestigious international rugby flowing through his veins. Got a replay coming in now of that action. Ed, talk me through this huge carry from Benji Williams. And a miscommunication, maybe?
Potentially, yeah. I think this sort of sums up Met's first half. You know, a bit sloppy when they've had the chances to really be critical on that attack. You know, that's very uncharacteristic from Rugby. We usually see them finish off chances. So, you know, on another day they might have scored at least 2 tries here, but it just sort of has been a bit sloppy from Met in this first half.
So we will reset with a Swansea University scrum. Duffland will make the put-in for the mean green fighting machines that have travelled from the west of Wales. He's an international banking and finance student, Ed, master's student, so he obviously wants to stay at Swansea, stay in this programme by taking on a master's at that institute. He's got Wales 18s and 19s experience, and he has played Wales 7s at under 18s level, so if he does see a gap, or he does see an exposed fringe around those rucks, you've got to count on him trying to make a run, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. You know, those experiences are definitely helping throughout the season, but it's whether, obviously playing 7s can be a complete different ballgame sometimes.
A good little push there from the Cardiff Met pack, but it wasn't enough to turn the ball over. A big tackle coming in from Roderick Evans on Ewan Jones in the middle of the park. And Musa will make the kick down the middle. It's going to bounce in front of Romajeng. He's dealt with it well. He invites Morgan to kick it straight back. Safe hands from Musa means that he can just kick it straight back to Romajeng. He may have spilt it, but it's spilt backwards. And Jake Thomas doesn't want to continue the kick tennis, but Bradley Roderick Evans does. And he'll kick it down that wing to find Oscar Stewart. And Stewart has kicked it up and high, and he's uncontested. He almost collected it. Morgan had to try and deal with the scraps, and Romajeng has done well under pressure there. He's showing his quality very early on in this fixture, Ed.
Yeah, definitely so. I think that was quite a tactical bash there, kick tennis, like you said. That seemed to have won, but I think here we go again for Bradley Roderick Evans.
Bradley Roderick Evans, as we say, with a high ball, has found Musa. He doesn't think he's got enough time to kick it, so he's had to take the tackle. And Cardiff Met have won the penalty. Great kick chase there from Benji Williams. Big number 8 has won the penalty there, and he will certainly want to let Will Barraclough know that, seeing as, well, he's taught him everything he knows, Ed.
I think he'll have a word or two after the game about that one, that's for sure.
You can count on that, that is for sure.
That was a great kick from Bradley Roderick Evans, though. You know, compared to the previous couple we saw in that battle, you know, that was a bit shorter in length, quite a bit higher. It gave the defence a chance to sort of put pressure on the taker and force that penalty.
Interestingly enough, I don't know why that didn't come out there, I do apologise. Slurring my words. Interestingly enough, Barney Langton has obviously made the decision. They're going for the 3 points. Brad the boot is poised, he's ready. Is this the right call?
Oh, well, I think so, you know. Half an hour into the game, that was just looking to get someone on the board at this point. You know, Brad's very trusting of the boot of his season as a Dutch rugby. So, we'll see.
Sporting fans who have visited from Swansea not respecting the kicker, and it does go slightly wide of the post. That means we will restart with a Swansea 22-metre dropout. And those sorts of opportunities, whilst they are difficult to achieve, Ed, that's not an easy kick by any means.
Yeah, definitely not. To be fair, I think I gave him a bit of the commentator's curse there as well. I teed him up for it. But yeah, like you said, they're not exactly easy kicks. That was quite a way out. But will Met rue that later on in the game? We'll soon see.
We will soon see, soon enough. The score currently reads still Cardiff Met 0, Swansea University 10. This is not how any of us saw this game unfolding in the early stages. Gus Patterson receives that kickoff from the 22. Nathan Morgan invites Tueti. He was trying to work his hands free because he saw Romajeng in a bit of space on the wing, but he's taken it into contact and Met have kept the ball. Tyler Olding received the offload there beautifully from Bertie Taylor. Ali Stacey, Met still with quick ball. Barney Langton's been invited into the fray to take another big run forwards. Roderick Evans out the back to Tueti. Thomas is out wide and alone on his wing, but Tueti's worked back to make sure he can help a fellow archer out. Langton Did look for that offload. Thought best not to use it. Patterson has found Morgan. Morgan with a sidestep, trying to get on the inside of Rory Case. The ball's bobbled out a bit frantically there, such is the franticness of this attack. Bertie Taylor with the latest carry forwards. Twetti has worked it out wide to Jake Thomas, who's cut back in. We've seen it time and time again. The wingers love to bite back in from their sides of the pitch.
Yeah, definitely so. But I think Swansea have dealt with it really well. You know, I think although Met haven't been quite at their best, the Swansea defence haven't let them be at their best. You know, they put them under pressure. They've not been. They've not let the Met defence, Met attacks, break them down. You know, get behind. And when they have, you know, there's been some unbelievable tackles to put that to a stop.
And under that pressure that you've just spoken about in defence, or in attack, sorry, I say, the defence of the Swansea outfit. So Bradley Roderick-Evans punt the ball along the pitch. And it's gone out, and Swansea have the throw. We have got a player down in the back of the field here. The referee is playing on. Swansea have got clean ball from this line out. Working it back to their 9. Daft land, but the ball not exactly going to plan there for the scrum half, because Cardiff Met have got possession back. Lovely out the back pass. Roderick-Evans is in some space. Patterson is on the inside, and he slid in on his debut for the try for Cardiff Met, the first try in this fixture. That is exactly what Cardiff Met needed so desperately.
Wow, what a moment for Gus Patterson, you know, scoring a debut at King Coyd in front of the Ultras. What a moment, what a line as well from Bradley Roderick-Evans, I must say.
He's shown his quality time and time again, and the ability to look up in that split second. Talk me through it, Ed. Look at this vision.
Yes, I must say, it's a great line, you know, slipping in behind the defence, you know, and he's just drawn the man and slipped in Gus Langdon.
We see all age groups of rugby practice those 2-on-1s. But it's not as easy as that man, Bradley Roderick-Evans, has made it look. He's nailed the kick, he nailed that bit of play there for Cardiff Met, and they are right back in this fixture. The score now at King Coyd campus reads Cardiff Met 7, Swansea University 10.
Yeah, that's a big try for Met just before the break. You know, they would have been frustrated that they haven't been able to get on the ball before this moment, but you know, a bit of quality from Brad. You know, that's what he's been doing for years now, so they'll be glad that he's on their side anyway.
Brad the Boot taking a powerful step off his right boot, but not to kick, to power his way through that Swansea defensive line. And a great try for the Archers. Tyler Olding, the latest one to carry forward for Cardiff Met from the kick-off. And Met are looking to set up clearance kick away to Alex Stacey. Came under a lot of pressure there, but the ball was touched. Got time for Tyler Mills. Musa looked to run it back. He wasn't interested in giving the ball straight back to Cardiff Met. Big tackle coming in from that man, Ben Murphy again. The kick's been blocked in the middle of the park. It's found the hands of David Twetti. Oh, he almost broke free of the tackle there from land. Cardiff Met need to make sure they keep this ball. Tyler Olding has picked it from the base of the ruck. It was bobbling around frantically. He wasn't going to stand around and watch it slip into the hands of Swansea. And Roderick-Evans is looking because Jake Thomas is running. It's claimed by Barnaby Waddle. He's offloaded on the floor because Bertie Taylor's in a bit of space. And Ben Murphy is the first one there to help him secure that quick ball for Met. Roderick-Evans again. He's almost there. He's over. Bradley Roderick-Evans, almost as quickly as he managed to set up one try, has scored one of his own. Hey, what is going on?
Well, we spoke about it minutes prior to this try. You know, Brad Roderick-Evans with another bit of magic to sidestep the defence and score a brilliant solo try from Matt.
It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Just look at this work. Ali Stacey drawing the defence. Bradley Roderick-Evans cutting in and using the power that he has at his disposal to drive over. Ed, I am in awe right now.
Well, he sidestepped one defender and then shrugged off about four just to get to the line. It was absolutely fantastic. You know, that's the quality. That's what he's been doing now for years at BUCS Super Rugby. you know, that's why he's the leading point scorer in BUCS Super Rugby history.
Absolutely. You mentioned it there. Leading point scorer all time in BUCS Super Rugby. He is known for his kicking. He is known for scoring points. But we don't talk about it as much as we should do, and we should, because that was brilliant individual running and vision from the fly half. He will look to try and slot this kick. He's already over 100 points for the season. He'll look to try and slot this kick for 2 more for Cardiff Met this evening. Sailed through the uprights, the kick is good, the noise of the Swansea Ultras didn't faze him at all, and the score now reads Cardiff Met 14, Swansea University 10.
Well, that's how quickly things can change in BUCS Super Rugby. You know, 5 minutes ago we were talking about how Met have been quite sloppy, you know, sort of behind the game line a little bit, but you know, 5 minutes of magic really from Brad Roderick Evans and Met lead.
Absolutely, and it's exactly what Cardiff Met would have wanted towards the end of this first half, and that kick-off is exactly what Swansea would not have wanted coming towards the end of this first half. They've let a lot of points slip all of a sudden, and that kick kind of sums up how the last 20 minutes have been. Ed, this game seems to have flipped on itself.
Yeah, like you said, that's an unforced error for Swansea out of nowhere really, you know. 2 tries in 5 minutes, and they're probably feeling a bit of the pressure now. You know, this Met side has got quality. They didn't show it in that first half an hour, but now they are. The Swansea players possibly might be feeling the pressure a bit too much, and they're buckling under it.
David Tueti just having a little bit of a conversation with Roma Zheng off the left of this scrum here, as it appears to us. Do you reckon they might try and throw the ball out wide to him, Ed? You know, invite him into a bit of space?
Well, I think when you've got Roma Zheng on your wing, you'd be very tempted to do that every time.
Absolutely. I don't blame them at all. But I can see that Bradley Roderick Evans is stood right behind the scrum. What do you make of that? Does it make it harder to defend against him? Is it what all tends to just do anyway?
Well, I think it does make it harder because they could go either way here. You know, Swansea have lined up as if they're probably going to go off right towards Jake Thomas's wing, but you know, with Brad Roderick Evans right behind the scrum, they can easily switch that up and have a throw or two over on the side.
Well, if he can read a Swansea defence in half a second, I'm sure he can read this one like a book and find a way to get Cardiff Met moving forwards. It won't even make it out to him because it's a penalty at scrum time, and that front row is being applauded. Ben Murphy, Tyler Alding and Elliot Salt working in unison to drive that Swansea scrum back. Not back to Swansea, but back away from the ball. A great drive there. I'm sorry, Ed, but I just love a scrum.
Yeah, Ben Murphy's been absolutely fantastic in the first half again. Flying in with tackles, winning penalties at scoring time for them. And Brad Roderick got a victory, so let's lead to 7
Roma Zheng's doing a little bit of stretching on the floor here. I hope it's nothing too serious. He's probably trying to keep his body warm and mobile. We've got another replay here of the scrum. I love seeing stuff like this. Ed, just look at that. It's beautiful.
Well, those 3 front rowers have been fantastic there. It's a huge push for them, and they've forced the penalty, and you know, this could be a big moment in the game right on half time.
Absolutely, it's not just a huge push, it's a colossal effort from that scrum pack. And as you can tell, I might have been affording the pass myself, and it needs to be applauded more than it is. But Bradley Roderick Evans grabbed the boot from halfway to send them further ahead. It had the distance and the accuracy. Bradley Roderick Evans has nailed a kick from halfway here at Kincoid campus. It's sawn through the posts, and it is now Cardiff Met 17, Swansea University 10.
Wow, what a kick. You know, it's turning into the Bradley Roderick Evans show at the moment here. It's quite astonishing, you know. He scored 12 out of 17 points already, and Met lead by 7 as we approach half time.
Now, many will have noticed that our play clock has hit 40, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the referees has. Unfortunately, a knock-on there from Elliot Salt has gone straight into the arms of Ewan Guy. And because he was in front of Salt, it's a penalty for Swansea. And because the ball didn't get out quick enough, Guy delayed the game. The referee has marched them back another 10. And Musa will kick it straight into the corner. This is going to be a huge way for Swansea to end the half if they can score from this position.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they're going for the corner around half-time shows that they're not just here to make the numbers up. They're here to compete and win this game. You know, it really shows their intentions.
Absolutely true. 2 tries apiece, both in hunt of a bonus point, and neither side would want it to be a losing bonus point, that's for sure. Ball is up and collected by the Swansea pack, and they do indeed pack down for another huge wall effort. Every Swansea body seems to be in there, bar 2 players, and they've scored again as a result. It's obviously a play they've been planning, because Dafland has bundled over from the back. It's not often you see a scrum half scoring from a maul, but it's also not often you see a team maul effort.
Well, that's the second time they've scored with almost a team maul now. It must have been something they've highlighted in this Met side prior to the match. You know, to score twice in a half with the same move is not something you see often. And like you said, with the number 9 at the back of the maul here,
you can see him. He's burrowing like a squirrel hiding nuts for winter. He's desperately trying to squeeze through, trying to find that line and make sure no one else gets the ball.
And you know what a final 10 minutes of this half has been. You know, first 30 was sort of lacking a bit of quality, and then the final 10 minutes has just erupted into a fantastic game.
And if Musa slots this kick, we have a tied game.
Sets up the second half.
Absolutely. I'm just as excited as I was every other time I've been down for a Super Rugby fixture. The noise is immense from the Cardiff Met Ultras. And Musa does indeed nail the kick, which brings the scores to Cardiff Met 17, Swansea University 17. We are tied here, neck and neck, at King Coyd campus. Ed, it's been a half of standout performances. Give me one player.
Well, I think you know what I'm going to say here, James. You know, Bradley Roger-Evans has been absolutely fantastic, especially in that last 10 minutes. You know, just a bit of quality to get Met going. They were really struggling to sort of finish off their chances, lack that killer instinct almost, you know, and then 2 moments of magic from Bradley Roger-Evans put them right in the game.
And the Swansea side have certainly not gone down without a fight. Their defensive effort has been amazing. And I can't wait to see it again in the second half, coming up against the Cardiff Met team. But we're going to go down to pitch side because Griff Ayerig is down there.
So I'm joined here by so captain for Swansea. Big half for you there.
Yeah, it was a massive start for the boys. You could obviously see the boys were very much up to it, up to the challenge. Died off a bit in those last 10 minutes and let Met back into the game. And obviously drawing at half time now, it's going to be a massive 40 minutes for the boys.
Yeah, as I said earlier, you came out of the blocks flying. The physicality was up there, the boys are obviously up for it. Did you take a lot of confidence from that big win you had from Cardiff last week?
Oh, definitely. I think having the season we've had so far, having a win against obviously our rivals is obviously massive, and then to come down here in another Cardiff derby is massive. So the boys were definitely up for this, and it's been something we've been up for all week.
I'm sure you're chomping at the bits. You want to get back out there. How's it going so far for you so far this season?
Yeah, good. I'm sure like the scores, like you said, haven't really reflected how we played. We've played some really good rugby, and we've taken on the best teams. But it has been those last 15-20 minutes that's really screwed us over. But
that was going to be the next question, really. So you're currently sitting 9th in the table. Leeds Beckett have beaten Nottingham, so you've got a chance here to go up into 8th. What are you taking from today's game going into the Christmas break after next week? What are you going to take from that, and what are you going to work on really for the second half of the season?
I think it's not so much working on things. I think the detail and everything is there with us, and we've gelled together as a team. It's having more of an 80-minute performance more than 60. And the boys all know it, the coaches all seen it, and I think our first full 80-minute performance was last week against Cardiff, and it really showed.
Well, thank you very, very much for that. So we'll go back up now. And, well, we'll hope Swansea don't win this, all right? Eh?
We've had an immense first half here from Swansea University, and it's great to hear from their captain Ben Gregory, and we wish him the speediest of recoveries and hope we see him back out in action in BUCS Super Rugby soon. Ed, it's been an immense effort, as I said already, and I keep saying time and time again from the Swansea team, but their defence has been great. Ben Murphy has been an animal in defence. I don't even think he might be taken off the park because he's just playing like a man possessed.
Well, he is. His defensive effort's been absolutely fantastic. You know, flying into tackles. Even at scrum time, you know, they forced quite a few penalties from scrum time. Him and Elliot Salt. And yeah, he's been immense. He's been immense, flying into tackles. You know, turning over balls.
Amazing. We're going to throw back to Griff now, who's with Matt Iarwyth-Scott.
Helo, thank you James. So dwi yma heddiw efo Math. Mae wedi bod yn gêm anodd I ddechrau off efo. Mae'r ddau dîm dod â lot o physicality efo nhw. So, be mae Met angen gwneud I pwysio drosodd I gael y pwyntiau fan tic I drosodd o'n?
O, ti'n gwybod, Abertawe wedi lawr yma. Mae'n torri popeth ato ni yn hanner awr cynta yna. Ni'n dechrau cleim yn ôl mewn I ddyn awr. Dwi'n credu disgybleth ti eisiau gweithio ar. Ti'n gwybod, ni'n rhygol o penalties bant yn hanner unan. A mae'n rhoi cyfleoedd I Abertawe. Ond credu cadw disgybleth lawr a cadw ar efo ni'n neud a gynnu'r
Be oedd yr planiau cyn mynd mewn i'r gêm yma? Achos yn amlwg, da chi wedi bod yn chwarae dros y noson diwetha, yn redig yn cyn coed, o dan tywydd ofnadwy yn y glaw, bob dim. Oedd chi bod yn practisio am dywydd sych, neu oedd wedi bod just yr un peth dro'r o'r tro?
Wel, chymod, ni wastad yn practisio am tywydd sych, ond ni'n troi mas yn bwrdd glawr yma bob wythnos, ond na, yw tîm sydd yn gywar lan yn y blaen, scrum, llinell, ni'n gweithio galed ar hwnna, so ni'n trio cymryd y gêm atyn nhw. Ond na, ni'n pel yn dod mas i'r cefnwyr, ni'n llyware, so...
Heblaw am discipline efallai, be arall fysa'r hogiau'n gallu gwneud mwyn pasio'r gainline na, cael mwy o bwyntiau, mynd mewn I hanner Abertawe?
Dwi'n credu agor lan, tu fas yn 10, mae Brad Rod yn creu'r pel yn anhygoel, so redig off it, agor lan, peth ar gyfer dynnu'r gêm lan i'n nhw.
Great, diolch yn fawr iawn, Matt. So just there, Matt saying that they need to work on discipline, they need to get this player to this ball to their star players like Brad Rod. He's been having a great game so far. Back to you in the studio, James.
Brilliant to hear from Matt Iarwyth-Scott there on the sidelines with Griff Ayerig, our pitchside reporter. And we've got some other scores coming in from across BUCS Super Rugby. I know that Ed's been particularly excited about a couple of these. Hartbury are currently 7-3 up against Exeter. Loughborough are 3-0 up against Durham. And as we mentioned earlier, Nottingham lost to Leeds Beckett. Beckett, one of their first and only wins of the season. But Cardiff Uni are down 7-15 to Bath at home. That is a big top-of-the-table result.
Yeah, definitely. Cardiff Uni really seem to be struggling at the moment. You know, lost to Swansea at home, at St Helens last week, and losing at home to Bath this week. So a big result there for Bath. They can hold on to that lead.
It won't have reached the ears of the Cardiff Met team, but with a win for Bath, they could potentially climb above Cardiff Met in the table. So it's certainly something that we don't want to see happen, and it's certainly something that none of that squad of 23 will want to see, Ed.
Yeah, definitely. Although, if Cardiff lose, you know, going into that big game down at the Cardiff Arms Park next week, it might dent their confidence. You never know. You can look at it both ways.
And as you can probably hear from some of our atmosphere mics that we have around the ground here, the Swansea Ultras are back in song. The Cardiff Met Ultras are back in song. It must be the start of the second half, and Ethan Morgan gets us back underway here at Cardiff Met's Rugby 1 pitch in the BUCS Super Rugby fixture between Cardiff Met and Swansea University. Cardiff Met currently tying 17-all with the visitors from Swansea. And Ed, we are set up for a brilliant end to this fixture.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be set up for a cracker. You know, if Swansea can keep Roderick Evans quiet, they might fancy their chances here.
First high ball of the second half for Morgan to deal with, and it's that man, Bradley Roderick Evans, drives it low, drives it hard, and drives it straight into the arms of Joe Hill. nearly evaded the clutches there of Ethan Morgan, but he's found himself in a bit of space down the blind side, and he tried to pass it inside to Bradley Roderick Evans, but instead it's found the palms of Swansea University, and he was taken off the ball there, it looked like. But the referee letting play continue. So now the ball will be carried forward by Swansea, and that's a massive wake-up call by the mean green rugby playing machine.
What a run from Ethan Morgan. It looked like he was going to lose the ball and he was sort of fumbling along with it, but that momentum he sort of gained from trying to catch up with the ball, he carried on and nearly turned it into a try-scoring opportunity.
For those who say that men can't multitask, he was juggling that ball around, and he can certainly probably juggle a lot of things successfully after a run like that. Langton with the successful catch at scrum time. Ali Stacey with the big run in from the front of the line out. I wasn't expecting to see that, but unfortunately the Cardiff Met pack didn't react quick enough as well, and it's a turnover at ruck time, and Swansea have a penalty.
Yeah, there's that Swansea defence again. You know, Joe Greaves getting over that ball nice and early, turning that ball over. They've been really, really good in defence, I must say. They've really impressed me.
Musa will look to get this ball as far up the pitch as possible for Swansea University, but he's not found touch. And Ethan Morgan again on this near side with hands that seemingly have Gorilla Glue on them, because that ball wasn't going anywhere except in his clutches. And he invited Roma Zheng in to try and run through the middle. Roderick Evans not sure what to do there, running into a bit of traffic of his own players, so instead he challenges Musa with the high ball. He calls the mark, quickly gets back underway, and does what he probably should have done a couple of phases ago. He's cleared it, and it's just on halfway for a line out.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted to call mark there, but I don't think the ref was allowing it for some reason, which must be quite frustrating for the Swansea boys.
Brandon Harvey with the clean collection there. He's made his way onto the pitch. Barnaby Waddle has made way for the USA Under-20s Eagles captain, and he will bring all of his leadership qualities and expertise at international level into this fixture. And Cardiff Met have won a penalty, not rolling away. The offending player on the floor, Ewan Johns, just not getting away out the tackle area quick enough.
Yeah, they've been a bit sloppy since Met have scored those tries, Swansea. I can't really put a finger on as to why, but it probably is the pressure knowing that Met have got quality all over the pitch. You know, both wings. You know, Brad at 10. You know, it can do all sorts mentally to teams. So you know, it's clearly having an effect on the Swansea players.
And even in that moment there, we saw a few phases ago where he looked to be caught in a little bit of traffic created by his own team. He reacted. He stayed calm, he put in a great kick which put Musa under some significant pressure. But speaking of pressure, the pressure's boiled over because Cardiff Met won a free kick at the scrum, but the referee wasn't happy with how quick it was taken, and it's none other than Tom Furtado Mills who is not happy with how that scrum played out.
Yeah, Met will be disappointed they weren't able to see that quickly then. They looked like they had a good chance to get in behind the Swansea defence and create a try-scoring opportunity.
Benji Williams was looking to take that quickly and have the bragging rights really over Barraclough. But Roderick Evans opts for the galactically high ball, and it's collected from Callum Dodd, who's bit in off his right wing.
Big hit there from Elliot Salt.
And a big hit coming in from Davith Dwetty to go with it. It meant that Peter Vickers went absolutely nowhere with that carry for Swansea. And instead, Musa will clear the ball again. And Morgan feeds Roderick Evans. Zheng shrugs off one challenge, steps through about 3, and sets up an opportunity for quick ball. But another Swansea player not getting out of the way quick enough, Garen Lloyd, deciding he didn't want to move, and Swansea has somehow managed to wrangle the ball from Cardiff Met's hands. And thankfully for Met, Ethan Morgan was chasing back like a cheetah. He activated his hyperdrive and he was hurtling towards the line. And he dotted down for a try. Dotted down for a try? No, he didn't. It will be a try line dropout for Cardiff Met. You can't see Ed laughing at me, but he is just rolling his eyes because I'm supposed to know more about rugby than him. I promise I'm an expert, Ed. The Ultras urging Swansea to get their running game on. They've had enough of kick tennis. They want to see some runs. And Musa ignores those calls and he chips it in behind for Thomas to try and clear up. And the kick from the Cardiff Met player hasn't found the distance, but it has given them a little bit of breathing room. We're going to watch a replay of this run, though. Oh, we were. But that run that we've just witnessed there, the intent from Swansea not to kick it straight back to Cardiff Met, but to run it, that says something about their plan for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that was a big Gary from Kai Davis there, looking to get at the Cardiff Met defence, you know, well, virtually so straight at them.
Another clean take in the line-out for Swansea. Means that Cardiff Met are going to have to use every inch of their remaining resources and push them back. And a little bit of a fumble there in the middle of the park by Dodd means that possession is turned over. It came under pressure from that Cardiff Met line. The Swansea forwards did everything they needed to do, but that little bit of a hiccup in the middle of the park has cost them.
Yeah, there was that unforced error again, James. You know, there's been quite a few now in this second half from Swansea. Something they didn't really do in that first half when they had that lead. You know, they were very solid, not making any mistakes. But then those mistakes have sort of started to creep in. I wonder if tiredness has a role to play in that.
So we are going to see a replay of this mistake. It's almost like he looked up and he saw the Cardiff Met defensive effort of Gus Patterson and Bradley Roderick Evans and just thought, no thank you, I won't have that this evening.
To be fair, I do the same. So.
Ali Stacey with the put in at the scrum, and Swansea actually getting the drive on of their own. And they've got away with it. Land has the ball in his hands. Is that another try for the scrum half? It is. It's something we don't say very often in BUCS Super Rugby, but the Cardiff Met scrum came under pressure there, and it was Daft Land who was chomping at the bit to get another score seemingly in this fixture. Reacted well, and Ed, great work from the scrum half.
Well, I think that's taken everyone in the whole stadium a bit by surprise, to be honest. You know, Met have been quite strong in the scrum in this game so far, but that big heat came from sort of nowhere really, and Daft Land was able to take advantage of it and touch down for his second try of the game.
We were nearly 10 minutes into this second half and it was a stalemate still, but with that score, Swansea have taken the lead back off of Cardiff Met. Drew Musa lining up the kick for Swansea. It's straight, it's true, it's down the middle, and it sends Swansea further ahead. And it means that Cardiff Met are now 17, and Swansea have 24.
Yeah, this game really has ebbed and flowed. There's not been really one dominant side throughout the whole game. You know, Cardiff Met have had their spells, Swansea have had their spells. Both have taken advantage sort of when they have been on top, but this game could ebb and flow even more as we approach the hour mark.
Callum Dodd collecting the kick-off there for Swansea and coming off his wing well and riding the challenges. The referee giving a penalty to Swansea. Potentially for a high shot there on Sam Dodd. And he's just having a word with the Cardiff Met captain Barney Langton there from the most recent offence. Great kick chase though from the Met boys.
Yeah, going down, you know, they're eager to put pressure on the Swansea players, you know, force that mistake. Unfortunately there, it just led to a Swansea penalty, but, you know, that's the sort of intent they want to show to get back into this game.
We've spoken about how the conditions are freezing out tonight, Ed, but I'm looking over to that far side where the Cardiff Met Ultras are singing and getting behind their team as the 16th man. And they're just in a blazer and a shirt. Or some of them are just in a shirt. I don't know how they do it.
Well, those Ultras, they'll watch rugby in pretty much any weather as we've seen this season, you know. They're die-hard. They love watching the boys play BUCS Super Rugby. And, yeah, I have to say, a few questionable decisions in terms of not wearing a coat, but...
They must all be Mad Hatters, because even the Swansea Ultras have turned up in shorts. Ethan Morgan, the high ball. He's not dealt with it well. It's fumbled along the ground. Jake Thomas eventually has to kick it out to stop Stewart pouncing on it. Meters out from the try line. And that was a hair-raising situation there for the Met boys.
Yeah, it was a good kick. It put Ethan Morgan under pressure, you know, sort of running backwards at the last minute to claim the ball. And the mistake was forced, and Swansea have a really good opportunity to score another driving ball here.
Well, we are seeing the arrival of Joe Cowell into this fixture now, and not just Joe Cowell, but his fellow's front row replacement, Dio Mantu. And it means that Elliot Salt and Ben Murphy, who has been relentless, I must say, in this fixture, will depart. But to bring on club captain and Welsh under-20s Joe Cowell, and Cardiff Rugby's Champions Cup playing Joe Cowell, is certainly what Met probably need to do in a situation like this. They find themselves behind, and the ball finds the hands of the Swansea line-out, and they've worked the ball back now to Garen Lloyd. Probably not keen on letting Daft Land have another driving ball score, but that's exactly what Swansea are trying to achieve here in the corner. They do go forward with it, and they have scored again from the driving maul. A huge effort from the Swansea University team, a massive play there, and Garen Lloyd will dot down for another driving try. Look at this work.
Well, that's a third driving ball try for Swansea in this game. They must have worked on this before the game. Highlighted the weaknesses of Cardiff Met in their defence, and it's paid dividends. You know, a third driving ball try is not something you see in every game usually, and they're really taking advantage.
Well, they've already wrapped up the try bonus point, and they're extending their lead here at Kincoy campus.
I was just about to say as well, you know, bringing those fresh legs on, they might change up how the maul's been going, but it hasn't seemed to make a difference at all.
It's early days. It's early days for the introduction of Captain Joe Cowell, Mr. Incredible himself, coming onto the pitch. And he will certainly be having a word with his team underneath those posts. What do you think of the words that are being said as Musa takes this kick?
Well, I think they'll probably be saying, look at what happened in the first half. You know, they went 10-0 down early on, sort of 10 minutes into that first half, and they were able to pull it back and take a 7-point lead after that. So I think they'll just be saying, look, keep going, keep working, keep trying to create those chances, and they will take them. As we said, this game's ebbed and flowed massively, so, you know.
Cardiff Met will certainly be making every effort to try and get back into this game, because they'll desperately need to score if they want to do so.
There's a huge hit there from Bertie Taylor off the kick-off as well. Put Swansea under real pressure, and they forced a mistake and got a line out here now.
They've been ferocious in their kick chase all evening long. They've been ferocious in defence every time Swansea have tried to run it back at them, and it's forced a poor clearance kick, you must say, from Drew Musa, and Cardiff Met will have possession from a line-out on the 22. I want to see a Bradley Roger special here.
So it's what they need, really, isn't it? You know, they've got to take advantage of these chances now, being 12 down. It's a game that, like you said, neither can really afford to lose, but Cardiff Met especially, you know.
We've got Captain Barney Langton just receiving a little bit of treatment there, down on one knee. And the Ultras, as I say, you can see them, look, just a shirt, just a jacket. They don't feel the cold, they don't fear the cold, but they want to get behind their team desperately and see them through all the way to a victory this evening.
I think a few of them might have a few beer jackets on as well, though. So.
Barney Langton with the safe hands at the line out there, despite the best efforts of Peter Vickers. And Met tried to set up their own driving maul. And Tyler Olding looked to break away with it, but the referee has called them back because Swansea have dealt with the driving maul well. So well, in fact, that Rory Case has even ran in to congratulate his forward pack. So, latest BUCS Super Rugby score updates coming in from Exeter University. Hartpury have scored a try, and the score is 14-17 down at Exeter University. And we can see from our replay here, even though Tyler Olding had peeled round that blind side and gone for the try, the referee pulled them back, and it will be a Swansea University scrum.
Yeah, another frustrating attack from Met there. You know, they're just not putting together the pieces of their attack quite like what they'd like to, really.
Swansea University's Oscar Stewart sitting out very wide on this wing on the near side of the pitch to us. It won't make its way out to him though, because Swansea have won the penalty at scrum time. And that is not what Joe Cowell will have wanted from one of his first scrums in this game, nor will Dio Manchu will have wanted to have seen something like that.
Definitely not. I mean, I know they've only been on a couple of minutes, but it's really, like you said, not what they would have wanted. They'll have to go again in the next scrum and try and change the momentum that Swansea are building here at the moment.
Got a replay of this scrum here, and you can see the pressure coming in from the Swansea pack, and it just goes down on that tight head side for Swansea, the loose head for Cardiff Met.
Yeah, it looked like Diamanti just got forced around, and that was the reason for the penalty.
What seems like the smallest of wins, though, smallest of wins is a scrum penalty, can create the biggest of margins in a fixture like this, Ed.
Yeah, definitely. Like we've seen, Swansea early on in the first half really took advantage of the penalties they were given. You know, they scored twice early on from 2 penalties where they were able to get upfield and really convert events into attack.
Another BUCS Super Rugby update coming in for you now here from Kincoy campus. Loughborough are currently 11-3 up in their fixture. So the league leaders against Durham are holding their own and looking to take themselves further away from any challengers, as Ethan Morgan has nailed that kick. He's found the 22, he has won the 50-22, even more importantly for Cardiff Met. And they are inside the Swansea 22 with a huge opportunity to score, you must say.
What a kick from Ethan Morgan that was from the mark. It's gone all the way from his own 22 into the opposition's 22. It's an absolute monster boot, and this is another opportunity for Cardiff Met to get on the scoreboard again here.
Well, they looked to fake the throw with Brandon Harvey at first, and they lifted him at the back, but the referee not happy with the throw-in, arguing it's not straight, even though it looks as though Brandon Harvey was stretching all the way back to America to collect that ball.
Yeah, I think that's slightly harsh. It was an unbelievable take from Brandon Harvey. Like you said, he was almost reaching over onto the Swansea side, so I don't really see how they get an advantage from that line out. But you know, rules are rules, I suppose.
I guess we are just couch experts at the end of the day. Yeah. We're not the referee in the bright yellow overalls running around on the pitch. Clearly, Brandon Harvey has picked up the gorilla glue that Ethan Morgan has been using in this game so far. Both of them having unbelievable grip when it comes to collecting dangerous ball. Now, interestingly, in this scrum, Joe Cowell is in a tight head. He's normally played as a loose head prop. Talk me through how big a change that is for the captain.
Well, I think it's a massive change. You know, people who don't really know rugby too well will think that, you know, props are just at the same position either side, but there is a real technical difference in it. Although Joe is a very experienced player, so I'm sure he'll be able to deal with it well. And we'll see how he goes in this game.
Hugh Johns with the big carry off the scrum for Swansea. And Swansea have won a penalty here, advantage being played for them after Cardiff Met were in an offside position. And now Rory Case was trying to find a gap, but instead just found Bertie Taylor. And Oscar Stewart couldn't work any magic here on this near side wing, and the referee will pull them all the way back to the initial penalty.
Yeah, that's sloppy again from Cardiff Met. They're giving the penalty there, giving the Swansea the chance to get further up the field. Offside, it's not really, it's an unforced error, you could say. So, yeah, sloppy from Cardiff Met.
Has this ball found touch? Yes, it has. And for those of you who perhaps don't understand why the ball has been called in touch, despite Jake Thomas leaping into the air to keep it on the pitch, if the player has leapt in the air in order to keep the ball on the pitch, he must land back in play for the ball to be played on. if anyone was just as confused as I was for a split second there, and I remembered, I have read these rules before, Ed. I definitely have.
I trust you, James, don't worry.
Joe Cal just trying to have a listen there on the conversation between Peter Vickers and his lifter in the Swansea University line-out. Chris Thompson taking a while to call his Swansea teammates in, and he's lifted into the air, but he knocks it on. It was not clean from the Swansea second rower at all. And we will have another scrum, and it's another opportunity for Joe Cowell on this tight head side head to show how he is a utility front rower.
Yeah, definitely. That was great work in the lineup there from Barney Langton. You know, just did enough to disrupt the line out and force the error.
Yes, we've got a replay of that here. It's just been knocked on. It's so difficult to catch the ball under pressure in those line-out situations, especially when you've got the menacing figures of Connor Chapman, Joe Cal and Dio Manchu waiting on the ground to pounce on you, Ed. We've also seen the introduction of Rory Morgan for Cardiff Met into this fixture, who feeds Bradley Roderick Evans. And it might bounce for David Tuetti, it doesn't though. And in fact the Cardiff Met team were offside from the kick by the fly half. Kai Davis just reminding Dafland that he doesn't have to take it quickly every time. We can calm the ball down, we can keep our composure, and Musa will kick for the corner.
That's another unforced error from Cardiff Met. Seems like I'm playing a broken record almost, but it's becoming increasingly frustrating as we approach the latter stages of this game. But it is quite surprising that Swansea go for the corner here again. They clearly want to get more points on the board. I thought they might have just taken the 3 points and taken possession back in their own half, but you know, they're really showing intent here, going for the corner.
We've got just under 20 minutes left in this fixture. Cardiff Met currently trail 17 points to 29 against Swansea University in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture at Kincoy campus. And Swansea University now have another very dangerous driving maul set up. And every Cardiff Met archer is involved in trying to stop that maul. And they've done so successfully. The scrum will be for Cardiff Met, just away from their own try line.
Yeah, they'll be relieved. You know, they've failed to stop the driving maul on 3 previous times, so they'll be relieved that they managed to get that ball back into their own hands.
Eagle Eye viewers would have spotted Father Christmas in the crowds there. Santa hats coming out this time of year. What would your BUCS Super Rugby wish be for Christmas, Ed?
It's got to be Cardiff Met finishing top of the league, hasn't it, James? Don't you think?
I think that's everyone's Christmas wish here down at Kincoy campus, Ed.
Give us a shot. We don't give a fuck because we're winning the lot.
So we are waiting for a scrum to happen between Cardiff Met and Swansea University with the put in for Cardiff Met. But the referee not happy with a fan on that side of the pitch close to the scrum. And we're going to have a replay coming in of that Swansea maul. Ed, talk me through how hard it is to stop this.
Yeah, well, they've shown how dangerous they are on the driving maul in this game. And when you've got sort of 9 or 10 big lads driving you backwards, it is really hard to stop. So they've actually done really well there to sort of stop that and turn the ball over.
Absolutely. It might be an option that Swansea don't opt for in future now because they know that Met can defend it. It's a big effort though at scrum time from the Swansea pack, and Roderick Evans is under some serious pressure here. He's dealt with it well though. No, he hasn't. Swansea University have got the turnover. The ball is unplayable, and Swansea will have the put in at a scrum of their own. Ed, they have got acres of space on this left-hand side to use.
Yeah, this is a big chance for Swansea now to extend their lead in this game as we approach the latter stages of this match.
We've got a replay of this carry now from Cardiff Met. He's just held up there by Rhodes in the middle, using his immense strength and supported by Kai Davis. The two Swansea players working so well together to make sure that Cardiff Met didn't gain any advantage from trying to run that ball away from their try line.
Yeah, Kai Davis had an absolutely fantastic game here today. You know, he's been absolutely brilliant in defence, making some big hits, turning balls over for fun. And he's been a real bonus to the Swansea side.
fourth-year business management student throwing him around this park, and he's also throwing himself into the fray as he picks and goes from the base of the scrum, but he concedes a penalty for extra movements on the floor. That is a huge sigh of relief there for Cardiff Met.
Yeah, definitely, that's a huge let-off for Cardiff Met. You know, I think if Swansea score there, then Cardiff Met chances in this game really diminish. So, no, a huge let-off, and Cardiff Met will be looking to get further up the field from this kick.
And due to the reaction from the Swansea team, it must be said that the referee has marched them back an extra 10 metres. So Ethan Morgan potentially with a better opportunity to get his team further up the pitch. Got a replay coming in here from this pick and go. A great covering tackle coming in there from the newly introduced Jake Bond. For that to be one of your first plays in the game, Ed, to make a tackle like that off the base of a scrum, is huge.
Yeah, that'll give him great confidence for the rest of this game. Like you said, it's always good to get a big tackle off early doors when you're on the pitch.
The offside call coming against Cardiff Met there. The line out quite not working how forwards coach Ian Gardner would have wanted.
Yeah, it's been a very error-stricken performance from Cardiff Met. They've conceded a lot of penalties. I'd love to know what the penalty count actually is.
Oh, I don't think that's the figure they'll want to read after this match. Well, they've not got much time remaining in this fixture. We're under 15 minutes to go now at Kincoy campus. Cardiff Met trail Swansea University 17-29 in this Wednesday's BUCS Super Rugby fixture down here at Kincoy campus. Obviously, the last time Swansea visited, they did also defeat Cardiff Met. It was 17-23 in that fixture. So we're very close to what it was last time out.
Yeah, it's becoming a bit of a happy stopping ground for Swansea current if it stays like this, which is something Cardiff Met would be keen to sort of change weight.
Penalty against Cardiff Met there for collapsing the maul. Collapsing it illegally. Conceding the penalty.
Yeah, another penalty, and it'd be interesting to see what Swansea do here, whether they go for that corner. Like you said earlier on, knowing that Met are able to defend that driving maul now, or if they fancy it again, or if they go for the points.
Well, we've seen Oscar Stewart signal for the tee, but we'll wait to see what the captain decides, because Musa will probably want to put this in the corner. And he is going to go for it, so he's ignored his winger, he's ignored the suggestion. I'm sure they'll make up after the game, but for now Musa has aimed to kick it into the corner, but he kicks out just in front of where Swansea were already positioned. And it's another opportunity for a driving maul score.
Yeah, they've almost committed the whole team over to that driving maul there, which we should see how this goes.
Caught well in the line from Chris Thompson, rising above everything else here at Kincoy campus. It wasn't moving there for a second, and it now is certainly starting to motor. And it's broken away, it's broken apart, bodies and players everywhere. Swansea will look to pick and go quickly though, but they are met from a physical Cardiff Met defence. Joe Cowell sitting on the fringe here, looking to make a big tackle himself, and he does. He pulled the USA Eagle, Brandon Harvey, in to help him out. And it's Ewan Guy with the latest drive backwards. Finished off by Barney Langston, who's coming in. Drew Musa's going across the field. Stewart's in a bit of space. He's just got Jake Thomas to try and get the ball off. But Thomas collects it well under pressure. Morgan is coming in. Tuetti's coming in. Have Cardiff Met been able to seal the ball? They may get an opportunity to clear their lines. They've done so well here in defence, Methead.
That was a brilliant take from Jake Thomas under pressure there.
So there's been a fumble. A moment of madness on the Cardiff Met try line. And Kai Davis has pounced on some loose ball. And Swansea have scored an unusual try.
Didn't quite catch what happened there. Kai Davis obviously slipped under a try that's probably deserved considering his performance, but yeah, it seemed like Met had the ball under control and were looking to clear it, and then all of a sudden Kai Davis was touching down for the try.
They must have been communicating well with the referee, looking for that ball out call where he waves his arms in the air and he goes, you get on with it, you do you guys. Got a replay of it coming in here now. here's Kai Davis, who swooped in with the support of Chris Thompson. Both of them saw that loose ball was going in. I'm sure both of them will claim that try then for Swansea University. But it's Drew Musa who will line himself up now for the extra 2 points.
Yeah, that's another damaging blow to Cardiff's Met chances in this game. It could be almost damage limitation from here on, and see if they can get sort of a couple of losing bonus points out of the game.
Is good from Drew Musa. Kicks like that will definitely help his current kicking percentage of 40% success improve, and he sees his Swansea University side creep further ahead in this fixture. It's now Cardiff Met 17, Swansea University 36.
Yeah, it's probably to the stages of do or die now for Met. If they want to win this game, they've got to go all for it here, as they seek to win this game, which they would desperately want to do so before that big game down at Cardiff Arms Park next week.
The win certainly in the sails of the Swansea University team after that huge win down at St Helens last week against Cardiff University, who will face Cardiff Met next week, and they will not want another loss at the clash, as Roman Zheng almost found a big gap. He found a little hole, and he crept his way through. Joe Cowell now passes it out wide to his winger. Cardiff Met potentially looking to use width as Roderick Evans feeds Barney Langton. Little tip-on pass. But Rory Morgan found a gap around the fringe of that ruck.
Yeah,
Met have done well to secure the ball there.
Yeah, like you just mentioned, James, about Swansea. It seems like they, when they get one win, they get 2 or 3. Looking at sort of the back end of last season as well, going 7 games unbeaten at the end of the season. They're clearly thriving off that win against Cardiff Uni last week.
The little chip over the top has worked for Roderick Evans, though. He recollected the ball. He had Brandon Harvey in support. The referee has blown up against the Archers here. He will come back for a penalty in favour of Cardiff Met, but I would say they're on the front foot there, Ed. They look like they were in a great attacking position.
Yeah, that is a strange call from the referee. You know, it was a great chip from Roderick Evans, and it looked like Met were going to be able to build something and get fast ball out of that ruck and try and claw themselves back into this game. But, you know, I imagine they'll probably kick to the corner now as we watch the replay here.
Great bit of vision from Bradley Roderick Evans. He saw that little hole in behind he could chip into. I'm still not sure as to why the referee would have called them back. That was a great bit of momentum that Cardiff Met had suddenly gathered there, Ed.
Yeah, and it will be frustrating, you know. That was one real chance in this past sort of 50 minutes or so when Swansea have been on top, that Met have got in behind and looked to get fast ball and score a big try for them, really, if they're looking to get anything out of this game.
Paula Fafita is making his way onto the field now and will replace Tom Furtado-Mills for Swansea University. Tighthead Prop has put in an absolute shift for the mean green rugby playing machine that is Swansea University, and they are certainly coming into their own, as you say, Ed, in the second half of this season. They did last year, and this game so far is definitely going the right way about it this year. But Cardiff Met are not done and dusted just yet.
Yeah, and we know what Cardiff Met are like when their back's against the wall. They seem to pull out moments from nowhere, so, you know, who knows if they can do it again here.
They walk slowly into the line. It was Barney Langton that claimed the ball, and he passed it down to Dyer Mansu. The Archers were able to set up another mini maul, as it were, at the front there, and they're looking to try and bundle their way over. The referee pointed his arm up in the air as if he was awarding a try, but the celebrations of the Swansea players tell me that the ball was probably held up.
Yeah, I think it's just been held up, but it was a great move off the line out from Cardiff Met. They sort of faked the maul off Barney Langton's leap and then popped it back to Dyer Mansu and built a different maul.
We're going to see a lovely replay now, hopefully, of the line out. As Ed just said, it was a great bit of work there from Cardiff Met. Here we go. Barney Langton straight down to Dyer Mansu. Ed, it's so easy to catch defences off guard like that, isn't it?
Yeah, that was a fantastic bit of play. Clearly something that they've worked on throughout the week this week. But it's surprising that they've waited so long to bring that move out. It was quite clearly effective. They've almost, well, we don't know what. I think it's been held up, but they nearly got a try out of it.
So Swansea University have been awarded a scrum here. The referee obviously deciding that because Met were going forward with a maul, and then that maul was stopped, potentially short of the line, not held up over the line, but short, it means it's a scrum turnover. So Swansea will have to put in just 5 metres out from their own try line.
Yeah, that's almost been the story of Met's game today. You know, so they've had a lot of chances, just not quite been able to convert. Maybe a bit of sloppiness been crept into their performance as well, and Swansea have really taken advantage of that.
Ewan Johns looking to run the ball out there for Swansea University. The referee telling Ewan Guy to get his hands out of that ruck. And Musa clears it low. He's going to bounce awkwardly for Bowden, but he deals with it. And he's inviting Patterson into the game. He's got his head up, he's seen a little bit of space, but he is bundled to the floor. And it's a penalty for Cardiff Met. And Rory Morgan wanted to take it quickly, and Kai Davis has batted the ball out of his hands. The referee wasn't happy with the quick tap taking place right in front of him, and Roderick Evans now has the ball in hand. It'll be interesting to see his decision from here. It looks as though he's going for the corner.
Yeah, I think Met have got to go for it now and chuck everything at it and go for the corners.
And he's missed touch, it's gone into that dead ball area and bounced out, so we will come back to where the penalty kick was taken from. It will be a Swansea University scrum. We've got players down, we've got players with their heads down, and with about 3 minutes to go, Ed, unfortunately, you would say that's the end.
Yeah, it does look like it. Those Swansea boys look absolutely knackered, but you know, it shows how immense their defensive efforts have been today. You know, they've really shut down this dangerous Cardiff Met side, and when Cardiff Met have had the chances, they've just not been clinical enough to take them.
I don't know what Swansea have been feeding their players for breakfast, but I certainly want to have whatever it was, because they have just been non-stop today. They've given everything in defence and attack. The same can be said of Cardiff Met. It's just not turned out in the same way for them. Roderick Evans now feeds Tueti out wide. He's run a lovely arc there. He's looked for a little bit of room himself. And the referee is giving an advantage to the Archers for a high tackle on Tueti. Morgan looks to be in conversation with the referee to go quick again, but instead hands it straight to Roderick Evans. Are the Archers looking for that bonus point from the try?
I think that's probably what they're looking for now. It's damage limitation ahead of the clash next week. You know, if they can steal a point maybe to take into that, a bit of encouragement, a bit of momentum, they will definitely take it.
Now it's at this stage of the game, Ed, I should put it in your mind. Man of the match, player of the game,
yeah,
archer of the evening, or swan from the south.
Well,
pick one, just one of them.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a few.
We've seen a lovely bit of work there, a lovely bit of trickling again at line out from Cardiff Met, but it's been dealt with so well by Swansea. They're so switched on at the line out today, it's just not worked out, and Connor Chapman is bundled into touch.
Yeah, it looks like they read that Cardiff May play there a bit better and were able to deal with it and win that ball back for Swansea, again showing that the defence has been absolutely phenomenal today.
Got a replay of the move now. As Ewan Guy with the ball, he looked to feed Chapman, and Chapman was just bundled into touch by that man again, Kai Davis, who's been electric for Swansea, but not electric enough for the ball not to be knocked on at the line out. He pleads his innocence in front of the Cardiff Met Ultras for kicking that away as well. But we will come back for a Cardiff Met scrum.
Yeah, Met will really be looking to get out this Swansea back line in the closing stages of this game, and like we said, get that bonus point. Be interesting to see how this scrum goes, because I think it's fair to say in the second half Swansea have been the more dominant in the pack. So we'll see how this one goes.
In this next group of phases, time will expire on our clock, but that doesn't mean the time has expired on the referee's watch. And the pick from the base of the scrum did find Rory Morgan, and it was worked out. David Tueti was able to carry forwards. Roderick Evans invites Roman Zheng to have a run of his own. He's in a little bit of space, he's stepped, he's offloaded out the back. Tink Thomas just couldn't hold on though. And the knock-on from the right winger doesn't pull off. And it's a knock-on from Cardiff Met. It's not the end of the game. The referee has checked his watch. Cardiff Met will be desperate for a scrum turnover, as we're just going to take a little bit of a pause. As unsurprisingly, there's a Swansea player down with a little bit of cramp.
Well, I think it's the first bit of actual magic we've seen from Roma Zheng today. Steps to two players and breaks through the tackle, but the offload was just behind Jake Thomas. He wasn't quite able to collect it, and that play there pretty much sums up Met's day today. You know, Swansea have been absolutely fantastic at the back. When Met have broken through, they just lack that killer instinct right at the last moment to take advantage of those chances.
Need to share the gorilla glue around more, Ed, in that changing room. Brandon Harvey's had it. Ethan Morgan's had it. Swansea made a number of changes there. Garen Lloyd coming off the pitch with a massive smile on his face and hugs all around on that sideline for Swansea University. It's a huge win for them in their BUCS Super Rugby campaign. The game is not done though. Cardiff Met can still rescue some points here if they really club together and pull off a miracle.
Yeah, like you said, it's a massive win for Swansea. You know, I've been really impressed by them, and if they get on a run, who's to say that they can't climb their way up the table and force themselves into sort of a home playoff position?
And looking ahead into next week, Cardiff Met will want to turn this performance around with a big win, hopefully, at the Cardiff Clash next week at Cardiff Arms Park. But this game will be rounded off with a Cardiff Met scrum that's been wheeled by Swansea. And they seem to have broken away with the ball here. Jake Thomas with a great tackle. He was one-on-one with the Swansea player. It was Bill Barraclough himself. We haven't mentioned his name much in this game, but that was the most menacing run he's had in this fixture. And Jack Therin is stopped, and the ball is fed back to Musa, who instead of finding touch, looks to find the middle of the park. And Ewan Bowden, but Bowden knocks the ball on. We are still not dead here at Kincoid campus. The clock's still ticking on the referee's wrist. And we've still got more time to play rugby.
Yeah, once again from Met, an unforced error, handling error. And it's just been the story of their day, really.
Connor Chapman, Joe Cowell and Dyer Manchu packing down for the final time in this fixture, you would say. Every Cardiff Met player has put their bodies on the line here in an effort to try and get something from this game, but Swansea University haven't been able to dominate in other areas of the park, but not that scrum, because that front row I just mentioned have worked so hard to ensure that Roma Zheng can get one last run on the ball. And he's worked well to get them on the front foot, so Rory Morgan invites more archers to potentially run dangerously. Barney Langton still going. He's been the engine room of the scrum all day and the captain for Cardiff Met in this fixture. And David Tuetti makes another line break. He makes his way to ground. He's nearly held up there. Met obviously looking for width and looking for Roma Zheng, who chips the ball forwards, but it's collected by Stewart. It's hoofed into touch. The referee will blow the full-time whistle, and the Swansea players will hurtle onto the pitch in jubilation because they've just won this fixture by 17 points to 36. The away side have come down to Fortress Kincoid and gone away with 5 points in this BUCS Super Rugby fixture.
And you have to say, James, it's been thoroughly deserved. I thought they absolutely excellent tonight in defence and in attack, really. That driving ball, they really got it going, especially in that second half, you know, two tries in a matter of minutes. And, you know, they'll take real confidence from this result again and look to take that on into the rest of the season, and climb up that table.
Now, I mentioned it to you earlier. I need a player of the match. Who's won it for you today, Ed?
Yeah, well, I think there's a number of standouts for Swansea, really. They were absolutely fantastic in defence, like I mentioned. Peter Vickers was absolutely phenomenal, both in the line-out and in defence in his tackles. But I think the man that's got to take it, really, is Kai Davis. You know, he was absolutely superb today, carrying the ball, You know, making huge tackles on the try line, stopping Met from getting over that line. Yeah, I just thought he was absolutely fantastic.
The Wales under-19 international, clearly using all of his experiences that he's got under his belt with both the international setup and Swansea RFC. He's brought it to King Coy campus for Swansea Uni this evening, and that was a dominant display from the mean green try-scoring machine that has been Swansea University this evening. But we'll look across to Cardiff Met now as well. The home team, obviously one of the standouts has to be Bradley Roderick Evans.
Yeah, that 5-minute spell in the first half was absolutely electric. That was probably what Met were lacking throughout the whole game today. You know, he brought that in that 10-minute period and really brought Met back into the game. But you know, apart from that, there wasn't much else really to shout about from them tonight. It's a rare occasion when you don't really see that magic spark from the side. But you know, they'll have to pick themselves back up because they've got a huge game next Wednesday. Sorry.
Absolutely, huge fixture to build on after the loss today, and Swansea University will take the points. And we're going to go back down. We're going to hand back to our studio, where Meg is waiting for us to take this fixture to pieces.
So not quite the outcome Meg wanted there, and not something any of us expected really. The final score landing in at 17-36 to Swansea. What went wrong for the Archers tonight, Keane?
Do you know what? I don't think Met were quite prepared with how much Swansea would fly out the blocks, and the game was a forwards game. We could see that. We saw it in the mauls, we saw it in the line-outs, we saw it in the scrums, and Swansea won all of them. I think Swansea, you could say, wanted it more. In some ways, it is a Welsh clash and you need to turn up to these Welsh clashes. You need to be switched on. You can't be conceding in the first 5 minutes. And unfortunately, from that, Met were having to kind of claw back at the game. They did get a foothold back in the game, but then again, what happened? Second half, Swansea come flying out of the blocks after just scoring at the end of the first half. And I think it was a level of intensity that Met weren't quite ready for. Maybe last week's loss against Loughborough, I think a few knocks were picked up, and I think the boys were still feeling that, maybe mentally and physically. But yeah, at the end of the day, not the result they wanted.
A weak start, really, for Met. Swansea secured their first 2 tries in the opening 10 minutes. They seem to come from mistakes from Met, really. Do you think it was defence that let them down?
Do you know what? Again, coming back to my point, I think it's them not being ready and them not being switched on quickly and fast enough. In BUCS Super Rugby, that just can't happen. You need to be switched on from the dot. I mean, Swansea may have been lower down in the league, but they showed with Cardiff last week that they can go toe-to-toe with the top opposition. The boys were saying before the match that you need to be switched on for a Welsh clash because Welsh teams like to beat Cardiff Met because they're the creme de la creme. And if you're not bringing your A game, they certainly will.
It wasn't all doom and gloom for Met in the first half, though. Superstar Bradley Roderick Evans scored 3 points just before half-time, all the way from the halfway line. How important is the number 10 for the Archers?
Bradley Roderick Evans was a shining light today. He scored from the halfway line, which is mental in itself. He played a hand in both the tries, I think scoring one and then setting up the other. He really started to get the game going, and maybe half-time came too soon. Maybe Met were going through their paces. I know Swansea scored just before the end of the first half, but I think he was really getting them going. But again, all credit to Swansea, they were able to nullify him. They saw him as a threat, probably during training in midweek, and they really focused in on him.
So we're going to throw down to Griff now, who is pitch side with Danny Milton.
Thank you, Meg. I'm here with Danny Milton. Unfortunate result there against Swansea, but it was a physical game. What do you think went wrong for us?
I don't think anything's gone wrong. Ultimately today we haven't put a performance in that we can be proud of as a group, and we've got to reflect on that. Congratulations to Swansea, by far the better team tonight, and perhaps we just reflected that as a group, that we went 5 games on the trot and probably got ahead of ourselves, and the last 2 games have certainly grounded us, and we've got to put it right next week.
So going on to next week now, what are your key work-ons? Is it just to get that intensity up, just to get that focus on, or is it something more tactical?
I think looking at the last 2 weeks and the way that we certainly feel that we've been flat. So I think we've got to look at that. We've got to look at the reasons why we've come out of the gates and haven't necessarily performed. There's lots of areas of our game that we've got to put right. I don't think there's one thing at the moment. There's quite a few things, and you can see what it means to Swansea tonight. And like I said, full congratulations to them on a well-deserved win. And you know, we've got to go back to the drawing board and put things right for next week in what will be another big game down at the Arms Park.
Well, thank you very much for that, Danny. And unlucky tonight. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you to Danny there, and back up to Meg in the studio.
This is not how Met wanted this match to go, obviously. We heard that from Danny Milton, back to the drawing board. So how will they pick themselves up and prepare for highly anticipated Cardiff clash next week?
I think Danny said it perfectly there. They need to find out why they're not firing out of the blocks. And when you go down to Cap, the atmosphere is huge. The event is massive. And if they start firing slow then, they'll be punished, because this Cardiff team is a really good Cardiff team this year. And what they need to focus on is matching up in the areas that matter. That means winning the collisions. That means when you're hitting the tackle, you're sending the player back. You're getting over the game line and you're getting that positive momentum. Something that didn't happen enough today. And I think that's the main thing that they'll be looking on, winning those contact areas.
So we're going to head back down to Griff now, who is with the winning side, number 10, Musa.
Thank you, Meg. I'm here with Jake Musa, the winning 10. Congratulations tonight, Jake. Superb performance by Swansea.
Cheers, yeah, it was good. We love coming down here, we love the challenge, and it was very enjoyable. As you can see, we all love it, so it was a great challenge, we enjoyed it.
Because I heard your boys had a bit of trouble with the buses coming down, and they all drove down. So excellent support for your team there.
Absolutely, yeah, the buses, but all the boys are here, all in the cars, and they love it. There's loads of them there, so all come down and support every game. They're loud, and they cause a riot, man.
Did they take a big part in, were they the 16th man today?
Absolutely, they're always the 16th man, at St Helens, down here, everywhere. They always follow us in their class.
So you brought a lot of physicality, especially in the first 10 minutes. It was a really intense game in the first 10 minutes. And how much do they help you with that?
Oh yeah, they egg us on proper, the boys love it, and they've been, see, as you can see now, yeah, they're being so loud, and it just makes us want to get stuck in, and we all enjoy it. As you can see, they enjoy it as well.
Out in Swansea tonight?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant, thank you very much,
Cheers.
Jake. Thank you, mate.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And back to you, Meg, in the studio.
So the highly anticipated Cardiff clash takes place a week today. Quick one, Cian. Do you think Met can do it?
I think they certainly can. Cardiff have lost today, Met have lost today. It's going to be a huge game. Everyone needs to make sure they get themselves down there. And I think it's going to be a spectacle, and I do think Met will be able to give a really good game, and it'll be a great encounter.
Well, thank you for joining me, Cian. Now, the trials and tribulation of BUCS Super Rugby definitely don't stop there, and it's round 2 of the Cardiff clash a week today. Can Cardiff Met bring victory back to King Coyd, or will the ghost of Christmas past haunt them? Find out next week. Thank you for joining us.
Blow winds and crack your cheeks. Rage blow. Your cataracts and hurricanes spout till you have drenched our steeples, drowned the cocks. You, sulphurous of thought-executing fires, faunt couriers of oak-cleaving thunderbolts, singe my white head. And thou, all shaking thunder, strike flat the thick rotundity of the world, crack nature's moulds, all Germans spill at once. Rumble thy bellyful, spit fire, spout rain, then let fall your horrible pleasure. Here I stand, your high-engendered battles 'gainst a head so old and white as this.